All right, all right. What is good, everyone? What is good, everyone? OJ here. Welcome back to the stream. JoJo Friday is here, and goodness gracious, are we off to a JoJo Friday-licious start? Big love to two people already. My man B Martin with the big 15. Nothing popped up though since we weren't live, so I can't replay the message. At least I don't think I can. Hold up, let me see if I can real quick. But shout outs to B Martin. He did a big 15 Canadian dollar holla before we even got going, so I appreciate that. And then comboing up that my man Clabby, the man, the myth, the legend, the DK master, said, yo, not to be outdone, did a $50 dono as well before the stream even started. So I appreciate that, guys. Seriously, that does help out significantly for us to continue being the independent, incredible operation that we are. We are PlayerEssence. So let's go, man. I appreciate you guys. Seriously, it really does help out. Big love, though. Once again, big love to Clabby with the big 50. I got you up on the Hokage and streaming, and I've got a Donkey Kong playlist for you as well. So thank you so much. And of course, we got the JoJo's. So I will play this for you guys, though. We will kind of, before we get into the shoutouts, we will hit you guys with the JoJo Friday. We will hit you with one of those. And then we'll go ahead and hit you with, as well, a Noah and Neo flying through the skies. Let's go. We'll hit you with both starting out here before we get into the awesome content that we have overall. So big love, guys. Thank you so much. I do appreciate that. I want to make sure my Cloudbot's active because Dior with the 55 months and Jeffrey Tucker with the $10 dono.
Can we watch the Prime 4 video? I haven't seen it and want to watch it with you and the ninjas.
Absolutely, we can. I actually already have it queued up. We got Metroid Prime 4 Beyond trailer, and we've got 11 minutes of gameplay. So total, we've got about 16 minutes or so of new Metroid Prime 4 Beyond content, straight up gameplay from GameSpot, in addition to the overview trailer going over that. So yeah, we are going to go over that trailer, and we're going to go over the gameplay and talk about it. Good, some things that people are not so happy with. So there's going to be a lot. There's going to be a lot to talk about today. I'm very excited. Metroid Prime 4 is exciting. It's been, since 2017 that this game was announced. We finally have it now within grasp. So we just have to stay alive till it comes out. So we can all do that, hopefully. Shout outs to my man Jeffrey Tucker. We're gonna hit you again with one of these as well. Thank you guys so much, JoJo boys. So yeah, it's gonna be awesome. I'm looking forward to it quite a bit. Let's get into the shout outs though. I think it's time to do that. So big love to Dior, General Zamora, Clabby once again. Thank you so much, Dior. Thank you for the 55 months, brother. Appreciate you on that one. Thank you so much. Shout outs to the Elite Ninja Village. Appreciate you guys. General Zamora, Dior, B Martin. Let's see here. Sky W, what's up, Sky W? Dane Gonzalez, what up, Dane? Ego Maniac, what's up, Ego? Enrique is also here. Finally got his code. Sorry about that, Enrique, but you got it. Let's see here. Remember, that code, Enrique, will also work on the Nintendo Switch 2. So when you get your Nintendo Switch 2, or if you get one of these days, that Pokemon Legends code, it should just actually already populate digitally, so you will have it on the Nintendo Switch 2 as well. So awesome. Let's see here. The Great Wah. What's up, The Great Wah? Welcome. How you doing today? Big love, big love. Just Another Artist is here as well. What's up, Just Another Artist? B Queen. Rags to Riches. Ayo, what's up, guys? Welcome. Paid Enthusiast. What's up, Paid Enthusiast? Old school Elite Ninja, man, from back in the day. My website days. Good to see Paid Enthusiast here as well. Shout outs, dude. Appreciate you. Thank you for sticking around for so long. I know you pop your head in every now and then, man. He's been around for so long. Paid Enthusiast, how long have you actually been around between the website? How long has it been? I think I've seen you here for more than a decade, which is a good chunk of our life, right? So I appreciate you sticking around and even just popping in every now and then to say what up, man. So I appreciate that, brother. Let's see here. Element Nullify, what's good? Ali, what's up, man? Welcome. The Great Wah is here. What's up, The Great Wah? Welcome to the stream. Big love. Joseph says, hi, OJ, I have Kirby downloaded already. Can't wait to try that or wait till that. Metroid Prime 4, so much happening in the world of Nintendo. Yeah, a lot of happening. Prime 4 Game of the Year. You know, it might be some people's Game of the Year, that's for sure. Justin says, Metroid Prime 4 good? I'm shocked. LOL, JK, I know. Prime 4 looking like Game of the Year contender for 2026. Yeah, I mean, for some people, it'll actually qualify for 2025, but for other places, it won't. I'm going to subscribe ASAP. Keep your talented expertise on what defines a true heart of gaming. Thank you. I appreciate that, Atkins. That's the point of that. That's actually what PlayerEssence name means. It means like the player, like player one, right? Or like player, you, and then it means your essence. So it's like the heart of a gamer. That's that. And I thought about that name really like long before I did it. Like it took me, it probably took me about a good 3 to 4 days of literally just sitting in my mom's old house back in the day and thinking about what the name was gonna be. Like I was just sitting there. My mom would be like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm thinking of a name for this thing that I want to do. You know, this gaming thing." And my mom's like looking at me like, "Okay." She like slightly just closed the door. Remember, this was like 4 years into YouTube. Like literally 4 years of this website's creation. You know, this was like 2008 or 2009 or something like that. This was a long time ago. So my mom was just looking at me like, yeah, right. Like I said, we did not have independent entry. Like we did not have a lot of independent media for video games at that time. Like there was barely anybody. I mean, there was websites, but they had staffs or they had people. There wasn't like YouTubers, you know? So yeah. It says, how do you sign up? Oh, just subscribe to just hit the subscribe button. If you want to become a member, you can type in !member, or one of the mods can do it for you real quick, and you can become a member if you want to become a member. But subscribing is free. Subscribing to the channel is free, of course. But if you want to become a member, it's up to it. It's $1 at the lowest tier. Become tune-in tier, and that gets you emotes and badges and all that. But it's up to you. I thought you said subscribe, so I thought maybe you wanted to just subscribe to the channel. That's free, of course. You know. But there's negativity around Prime 4. Can't just enjoy anything slower constant giving no matter the news. I don't think it's negativity. There's just some people complaining about the fact that there's somebody that gives you some tips or something like that at the beginning of the game or whatever, tutorial stage. So it's just people overreacting like always. The main game and the gameplay from what everyone said is good. So yeah, I don't really pay attention to people, like especially hardcore Metroid fans complaining about little things like that, because you already know once we get the full game, it's gonna be nothing like it. Like they did the same thing with Metroid Prime 3 when that was coming out. So I don't really pay it any mind, honestly. Let's see here. I'm gonna need you to call out certain clowns that are putting 1 hour videos of full of lies on Switch 2 sales. Well, we did yesterday, JCat. So yeah, we can definitely go over that today again too. Yeah, with Nintendo. He's definitely a clown. At this point, like it's actually funny. It's not like, I mean, before it's like I kind of like took him somewhat seriously, but I no longer actually take him seriously because I think it's really just a joke at this point, and you know, so yeah. Let's see here. Miles McLovin getting too much forced hate. Yeah, like I said, once we get the full game, I don't really think it's going to be an issue. You're not going to have somebody holding your hand throughout the whole thing and telling you, hey, go here and do this. Like that's not it. So yeah, it's all good. Let's see, I loved OJ's website back in the day. That was a cool community to be a part of. Yeah, it was cool. It was cool while it lasted. I do like YouTube more, though. This is like a bit more interactive. This is more like, I enjoy doing this more than I enjoy doing a website. I honestly hated doing the website. I loved interacting with you guys on the website, but I hated maintaining and typing and like writing for the website. That was like legitimately the worst thing that I've ever, like one of the worst things ever. Yoshi with the 5 says, I can't wait to see my family. That GF Trooper in the Metroid Prime trailer will not get to see his family. Maybe we have to wait and see. We have to wait and see on that one. They do say this Miles has a good story moments. I'm assuming he's a good in the cutscenes. Yeah, I don't think they even played enough to even gauge like in terms of the full experience, because it was just a slice of gameplay. So like I said, when I read through the previews, I was like, okay, I know what's going on here. I mean, they obviously, I'm not trying to accuse them of clickbaiting, but they obviously need their clicks. So it's something that's different from what we've seen before in Metroid games. So you're going to highlight that and you're going to be like, okay, well, it's not good. That's the easy thing to do. Once the game actually comes out, then it'll be fine. I mean, like I said, no offense to Andy Robinson, but he did the same thing with Donkey Kong Bonanza. I'm not convinced with the gameplay because they show you a small little slice, and then when we get the full experience, it's like, oh yeah, it looks and runs and plays as good as we thought it was going to be, right? So I mean, there was some of that with Donkey Kong Bonanza in the preview there. So yeah, I'm not really too worried about that either. I'm not trying to write off what they're saying, but like I said, hardcore Metroid fans are just like, they have like mental stuff, you know, like when it comes to this franchise. Atkins the 5.
Gamer dude. Keep it up, man.
Hey, thank you so much for the Ninja Peach. I appreciate that. Thank you for the $5 dono. That works too. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate the donos. That essentially like giving like a 5-month membership right there with that $5 dono. So I appreciate that, Ekins. Let's go. Shout outs, man. Appreciate that. Thank you for the 5. 85 on the combo board already. Let's go. Combo breaks. Let's go. We're going further than beyond 15 combos, and we've got a platinum streak already to 65 on there. You think Prime 4 will hit 5 million in sales? Probably, eventually, at some point. Probably. Let's see, if Metroid fans constantly complaining low-key makes me get more hype for the game. Exactly. Like, when hardcore Metroid fans complain about something, you already know it's like, think the exact opposite. Oh, they're not doing this enough? Okay, it's just fine. Like I said, because hardcore Metroid fans, they complain about everything. Even like when Metroid Prime 3 was coming out, they were complaining. They complain about almost everything. And like I said, there's not that their complaints aren't valid, but it's like the littlest things, like, oh my gosh, Samus looked a different way, or oh, there was a bike in there, so that they get crazy about it. So it's like they put out like a trailer, right? That was a pretty good trailer, and then somebody on Twitter, literally this was like the week later, right? They put out that trailer for the game, and then someone's like, well, I don't like the fact that they're showing the bike. Like, it was like a little tweet on Twitter, and they're like, Nintendo's convincing me to not buy this, and it's like, dude, what? They just put out a trailer. They literally just put out a trailer that was great, and everyone said it was good. And now you're complaining about a 3-second clip on Twitter. So yeah, that's all. Like I said, it's hard for me to pay attention to everything that a lot of the people are saying. And when it comes to previews, like I said, it's hard for me to pay attention because it's a controlled environment. They're not playing a full experience. They're playing a small slice, and they're just looking for things to say to draw attention. You know, like, oh, there's a fatal flaw that can completely destroy the whole thing. It's like, you didn't play the whole thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, you didn't play the whole thing. And like I said, I watched the previews. You didn't play the whole thing. You're just saying something to draw people to the preview. So I worked in games media. I have friends with people in games media. That's the whole point of doing these things, to find something that you could say I complain about to push the preview more. Now, once again, it could be an issue for some people. It could be a problem once the game, like, you know, for some people might hate it or whatever. But like I said, I began to stop like listening and just looking at the gameplay. I don't really listen, I just look at the gameplay and say, okay, and I make my own determination, you know, from the gameplay that we see. So that's kind of how I do. Like I said, not to discredit Andy, or not to discredit IGN, or not to discredit people, but I kind of just don't listen anymore, you know, because remember, all of their previews and everything they said, once again, I'm not trying to, you know, have like a red herring or a, you know what I'm saying, or like a fallacy or like a whataboutism, but I mean, like, you can just tell with certain things, like with Concord, they were all glowing in their previews saying, look at this thing, it's the best thing ever, it's this, like the previews were great, and look how that turned out. You know what I'm saying? Like, the designs, people weren't vibing with them, people weren't loving what it was offering. I mean, I could already tell from looking at the gameplay looked okay, but I could already tell it was going to be a nightmare, because remember, it's just a repetitive shooter. You got to have good character designs in like Overwatch style shooters, or like Valorant or whatever, like, because like that's all you're doing, you're just shooting people over and over and over and over again in different scenarios, like, so I don't really be paying attention too much to what they say, you know, so that's just my thoughts, at least. Let's see, I think that's the issue with modern video games as a whole. Over excessive subjectively hand-holding, onboarding naturally frustrates legacy gamers. Yeah, that could be it. Dread was amazing. Any idea when the next Metroid 2D Metroid game comes out? Probably not for the next few years. Switch 1 version of Metroid Prime 4 is going to suffer badly sales-wise because 98% of fans will mainly be copying Switch 2 version. I think that, yeah, most of the fans will be copying the Switch 2 version, and I think it's good that they got it out now, so then it has like a generation to sell. But the thing about it, though, is that with the Switch 1 version, it still opens it up to a lot of people who, if they want it, you know what I'm saying? Yes, most people, I think a good chunk of people, are going to buy it on Switch 2. We're going to see the majority of people wanting the latest and greatest that are going to buy it on there. Yeah, like Metroid Prime is a graphics franchise. Like, that's how Metroid Prime was even birthed. It was birthed in the era that Nintendo had cutting edge graphics for the time. So I think that's what's key for that franchise, is cutting edge graphics, is making sure that it looks good. And I think that's why by the time that Metroid Prime 3 came out, they did not have a cutting edge device. So you did not have cutting edge graphics, or anywhere near cutting edge. It was like, well, wait a minute, this is a graphics franchise, it's not there. And I think that franchises that were born in the N64 and in the GameCube era, those have to be a graphics type of thing. You know, I think that's why you've seen struggling with Metroid Prime, or with Metroid, you've seen struggling up until Dread, right? You've seen struggling when it comes to Star Fox, because Star Fox was birthed in the graphics era, and then they weren't able to keep up with those graphics. I mean, outside of Star Fox Assault, but they weren't able to keep up with it. They did the DS, you know, they did the Wii U, and that was not good enough. So I think that with a graphics franchise like Metroid Prime, people want the best looking type of game on top of great gameplay. I think the Switch 2 finally offers them to have that best looking graphics that I think a lot of the Metroid fans are going to gravitate towards, myself included. I'm not a graphics person. I'll play it on Switch 1, but I mean Switch 2's here, so of course I'd rather play it on Switch 2. So yeah, I think that's kind of what's going on here with this one. So I do think what you're saying is correct. Let's see, why did they add Chadley to Metroid Prime 4? Well, I haven't played it yet, and I don't know what the full experience is. So we'll see if it's as annoying as Chadley. Chadley is completely optional though, but yeah, I don't like Chadley though. I do not like Chadley at all. So yeah. Let's see, said that this could literally ruin the whole game. Let's see, Krista and Kit from, I think you meant Kit and Krista. Okay, Kit and Krista said this could literally ruin the whole game. I respect her opinion, but I think it's a bit wild to say. Yeah, like I said, I think people are just saying stuff just to say it. I don't think they actually mean that. When they play the game, it's not going to ruin the whole game. I mean, I think that's ridiculous. Obviously, it's not going to ruin the whole game. Clearly, people are going to still enjoy it and play it. Clearly, they're going to still enjoy it and play it. I think that they're just going off of what the internet is saying overall. And once again, the internet is the internet, guys. We've got to separate what the internet is. I don't know how many times we have to do this, but we've got to separate what the internet is and what the actual game is. Just like we have to separate the internet from like Switch 2 or like the internet from like Pokemon. Remember Pokemon Legends ZA? Worst game ever, worst graphics ever. This is going to be terrible. And then what happens? It's like one of the best selling games of the year. People want to play the game. Same thing here. You got to have to separate the internet from people that are actually playing. Most of these people are actually going to buy the game and play it and probably enjoy it. They're just going off of, once again, people complaining on the internet. So we have to kind of separate those two. That's why me personally, I'm not overreacting, because I watch the gameplay and I'm not going off of what somebody else says. Then all of a sudden I'm upset. It's like, I don't do that. I don't really do that. When I play the game, if it's a problem, then I will say it if it is, but I'm not going to make wild, broad takes about the whole thing based off of what, previews say. I mean, once again, we had that with Bonanza, and obviously it ended up being one of the better games of the year. So yeah, I'm not doing that. Let's see here. I've been playing Metroid Samus Returns for the first time. Decided to play it in 3D. I wish people didn't sleep on the 3DS's, 3D capabilities. People slept on it because here's the reason why people slept on the 3DS's 3D capabilities. One, because it was ghetto. Like at first, it was absolutely ghetto. Like you're playing the new Nintendo 3DS, so obviously, the new Nintendo 3DS, it has super stable 3D. But the problem was that the 3DS at the beginning did not have super stable 3D. You had to hold it exactly still for it to get the 3D effect. That's the first problem. The second problem, Jeffrey Tucker, is that the 3DS, the 3D drains your battery. I mean, it like cooks your battery. If you put 3D, if you put it on like to actually get the real effect, so if you slam that slider up halfway to full, it's gonna cook your battery. So you're gonna get way less time overall. And then the third reason why is that Nintendo removed it from even it being a factor. So for example, the 2DS, there was the 2DS, there's the new 2DS, the 2DS XL, there's all these different models that don't even have 3D. So there is a good chunk of people who don't even have 3D in their 3DS. So those three things made it to where it was slept on, because it cooks your battery, because Nintendo took a year plus years to get super stable 3D, and that a lot of their own games weren't even using the 3D to even do anything. Plus it's also cooking your battery. So yeah, those are the reasons why. Me personally, the 3D effect, it's cool and I think it's novel. But it's not something that I want to sit there and use all the time and have to hold it. And even with the super stable 3D, I mean, I have a new Nintendo 3DS that has it. You still, like, even if you tilt it still might mess up a bit. So I think that's the reason why. It's just, there's just too many caveats to using it, which caused the issue for people out there. So yeah. But yes, I mean, it is a very, like, eye-opening, like, wowing type of thing, like when you first hear it, it's definitely like, oh wow, that's really cool, so yeah. But no, I'm not dunking on Kit and Krista. I think that they do great work, and I understand what they're trying to say. Like, I get it. And I watched their podcast that they did the other day, and they come from being on the actual corporate side or Nintendo side, so they have good insight on what they're trying to say and their own opinions. And like, I think they did a podcast the other day where they talked about why do people hate Nintendo? They want them to fail. And it's like, Kit, Krista, they wanted them to fail when you guys were there too. They wanted them to fail in the GameCube era. They wanted them to fail in the N64. Like, people have been wanting Nintendo to fail since the Sega Genesis. People have been out there. Now, before in the past, there's no internet, so you couldn't talk about it. But if there was internet, like real consumer grade internet in the Super Nintendo and Genesis era, you would have had millions of Western gamers trashing Nintendo at every single opportunity that they got, because that's what people did. I remember hearing it. Sega's so much better. They have the sports games. It's more mature. They've got Sonic. Mario's lame. This and that. Like, the same stuff that Sonic fans were doing with Mario Kart World, you would have seen that all the time. Like, if there was actual real internet back in the Super Nintendo and N64 and GameCube days, dude, people were slamming Nintendo to hell and back all throughout that time period. I remember, I have a very good memory, and I remember literal schoolyard discussions on NES, Sega Master System, and stuff like that. I remember people trashing GameCube and saying this is the reason why it's flopping and nobody's buying it. It has nothing to do with their business practices. It does not matter. Even when they had Player's Choice and cheaper games and rentals, people will find whatever way to be upset at whatever they want to be upset. It's just a whole different generation. That's all it is. But in the GameCube era, everyone trashed the GameCube. And once again, it had a cheap console, it had a powerful console, they had discount prices, they had Player's Choice, they have all these things that people are saying the reason why they hate Nintendo now. They had that with the GameCube. And gamers, these people's parents, uncles, aunts, they found ways to complain and be mad. Trust me on this, guys. I'm not making this up. I know it's kind of hard to think about it that way, but I'm telling you, it was like that. And the GameCube sales reflect that. The GameCube sales, it only sold 21 million, so people weren't out there buying it. So, like I said, I get it because it's the internet and now everyone's online. Everyone has an opinion. Everyone says something. But I'm telling you, it doesn't matter what they do. They find some reason to be upset about something. They always did. The N64 era, people bashed Nintendo consistently because PlayStation had all the RPGs and had all the third-party games. People always found a way. They always found a way. Trust me. JCat with the 3 British pounds. Thank you so much, JCat. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Appreciate the big $3 dono coming in. Thank you for the super sticker. So I don't believe in this. Oh, everybody just wants them to fail. It's like, that's just how it is, you know? There's no way the entire game is annoying NPCs. Nintendo didn't spend $100 million to reboot a game to make choices like that. Yeah, of course, John. Once the game actually comes out, once again, I'm pretty confident based off of what I've seen so far, which we will watch the overview trailer, that there's not just going to be somebody there being annoying the whole time. Once again, I don't think it's going to be ruin the whole game or anything like that. I think people are once again looking at a vertical slice of gameplay and kind of overblowing that. Once the game comes out, you'll see. Let's see here. GameCube had decent third-party support too. PS2 was the thing back then. Yeah, and that's fine. What I'm trying to say is that even with the decent third-party support, even with the Player's Choice, even with the cheap console price, even with the cheap memory cards, even with the cheap everything, the stuff that people say Nintendo's gone too far in today's day, people found ways to say that they're terrible and they're the worst thing ever and they're not good. People always found ways. It's one of those things. I'm just saying it's been there from the very beginning. It's not like everyone just wants them to fail now because of X, Y, and Z. People just find new reasons. Like I said, these people's parents, uncles, cousins, they're just the next generation of people doing that. You know what I'm saying? But I'm old enough to remember what people were saying 20, 30 years ago. And like I said, it's still them complaining about things. It's just a different style now, you know? I mean, look at the Wii U. The Wii U had a decent price. The Wii U had cheaper games. The Wii U had all that, and they still had a problem, said it was the worst thing ever. So, I don't believe this whole, everyone just hates them for X, Y, and Z. I think it's just a natural thing. It's like you're just gonna, some people are just gonna not like something, and that's okay. You know, you don't have to like something. And I think also the rise of rage bait YouTubers and clickbait YouTubers, like clickbait and rage bait, has become insanely profitable, which is, you know, it's always been profitable in the media, like tabloid media. But now here in the, when it comes to modern YouTube, it's very profitable to be rage bait, to be clickbait YouTubers. So I think that's also, especially with Nintendo's, because Nintendo has history. Anything that has history, tradition, and all of that, it sparks more passion in people, right? Whether it's for positive or for negative or for neutral or for whatever, it sparks a lot of passion because they're old, So that's the reason why you also get a lot of rage bait. I mean, look at the people right now coping, like J-Cat said, with the sales of the Switch 2. Look at this, because Nintending is mentally ill. He's a mentally ill person that has problems, that has mental problems, because he has a great attachment to Nintendo, right? So it results, when he doesn't get what he wants or he feels a certain way, it results in an hour and a half long cope and seethe session of trying to explain to his brain dead audience of why Switch 2 is doing well. It's getting discounts, it's cheaper in Japan. First it was scalped, then, like I said, literally this order. First, it was only being scalped. Second, nobody was buying it. Third, nobody was buying it in Japan. Fourth, it's just shipped, not sold. Now, fifth, at this point, it's the best-selling, worst console. It's like, it creates mental issues with some people. Like, because once again, childhood, memories, whatever the case is. So you're going to get people that act crazy when they don't get what they want, like a child, So I think that's what's going on here. More so than Microsoft and Sony, because Microsoft and Sony have not been around as long when it comes to creating memories and games. And the IPs that a lot of people, if you grew up with PlayStation, a lot of the IPs that they had are not even around anymore, or they're not theirs anymore, or they're not associated with the brand like that. Like Crash Bandicoot and Spyro and all these different things that play, like Final Fantasy VII, Metal Gear Solid, those are all multi-platform or moved on, right? Microsoft, I mean, you still have some of that, but Microsoft, when it comes to the Xbox console gaming, they're new. It wasn't until 2001. That was when they started, and like, that's not old enough for people to have some type of crazy attachment. But Nintendo's been around, literally some people's grandparents or some people's parents, like Game & Watch, right? Or like the NES. We're talking like 80s and stuff like that. So you have way more bloodline, way more tradition. So it can spark, like I said, mental disease, mental issues with how you treat it, right? Like an hour and a half cope session over a system selling. Like that is, I've never seen that in my life. I've seen damage control. I've seen people upset, but an hour and a half, that must be, I've never seen that in my whole career of YouTube. I've been on this platform literally since almost the beginning, okay? I started making videos 5 years into YouTube's creation, and we didn't get clickbait like that back then. But since we started getting it in the early 2010s, I have never seen an hour and a half edited video cope session in my life. I've seen live stream cope sessions, but I've never seen an hour and a half of sales coping in an actual video. That is a mental health issue. That is mental health. So I think that's what's going on here. Let's see here. Prime Force looks definitely getting it. When I get a Switch 2, I've only played Prime 1 on the GameCube, so I got to get the others. Yeah, you're gonna be fine, man. You're gonna be fine. Yeah, Zara says people always bash Nintendo. The GameCube was always considered baby console. You were cool if you had PS2 and Xbox. Exactly. So they just find a different way to say something. That's really all it comes down to. What's up, Brian Jedi? Welcome to the stream. Shout outs, man. Nintendo actually spent $100 million on Metroid Prime 4. Kiwi Talks keeps on saying that they did, but we don't know if Nintendo spent $100 million on Metroid Prime 4. I don't know if they did. I mean, if you look at like employee salaries and you just times it out over the course of, I don't know, 8 years or whatever, then yeah, I guess you can put it that way. Yeah, they probably spent a lot of money on Metroid Prime 4. I just don't know if it was $100 million though. I don't know if it was that. Dustin says, serious mental issues. Serious, like an hour and a half cope session on a system selling. Just because you were wrong on the sales of a system, making excuse after excuse, saying, I looked at previous systems in the past and they had to discount it for it to sell. Dude, you were saying that it was overpriced anyway. So if they discounted it and it sold, so what? You were saying it shouldn't be that price anyway. So what is the point? If you're saying that it's only selling because it was cheaper, you were saying it should have been cheaper in the first place, okay? Why didn't you factor that in? Factor in some price drops some places. Factor in all things considered. Like, why are you not factoring that in your prediction? When you make a prediction on a console, you've got to factor in every single scenario. You got to factor in potentially getting sales or deals down the line. You got to factor in new games, like new video games, system sellers. You got to factor in economic conditions. You got to factor everything in. You can't just factor in what you know right now. What's the point of making a prediction if your stupid self is going to sit there and only factor in what you know right now? That's dumb. You're predicting the future, not right now. So, like, I don't care how quick it happened, whether it happens soon or it happens later. Factor everything in and then go from there, you know? So yeah, that's the problem, like I said, with some people. Mental illness. Let's see here. He's a lying narcissist trying to save his YouTube career. LOL. Yeah, the views are going down. The views are definitely going down. He ain't getting those 300,000 views, 100,000+ views that he used to get on his cope videos. Now that people know the truth, so yeah, the revenue's going down a little bit. Let's see how long it can last though. And I don't think most people are gonna sit there and watch an hour and a half cope session. I don't think you're gonna get 300,000 views or 200,000 views on an hour and a half cope session of complaining about Switch 2 sales. So I doubt. Like I said, the end is nigh. Overall, there ain't gonna be much people that really respect him. I mean, people don't want to admit the truth, but that's the truth overall. Wait, Nintendo really did put out an hour and a half video trying to ship the goalposts? Yes, he absolutely did. He absolutely did. Like I said, that's why it's a joke, you know? That's why it's a little bit of a joke down at this point. Nobody actually takes him seriously. Except for, like I said, other mentally ill people online or crazy, like I said, schizo PC people, schizo Nintendo fans, or schizo former Nintendo fans. Nobody logical takes him seriously at this point, you know? His own fan base goes in on him. Let's see here. RGT85 says Metroid Prime 4 is dull because motorcycle and easy hint system. So like I said, once again, I think that's just going off what the previews are saying. Once we get the full experience, I doubt that it's going to be dull once we actually play the game. They're just going off of what people are saying. Like I said, I don't really, or he's probably going off of what he saw, like, with the previews and all that. But when you say hint system, that's obviously just going off of what other people are saying or what you saw. I'm not going off of that. I'm going off of the full experience. Lots of games have hint systems. Like, a hint system doesn't make or break an experience for a game. Doesn't really matter. I'm going off of the experience that I saw, the actual gameplay. And the gameplay that I saw, which we're going to watch in just a bit, looks awesome. It looks incredible. The boss battles look cool. The graphics look great. I'm not going off of, oh, the bike and the hint system doesn't look good. It looks, you know, I'm not going off of that. I'm not going off what people are saying. I'm going off of what I see, like the actual gameplay. Let's see here. Metroid was cool. I never played Metroid, but I think I might get into in the future. Yeah, check out Metroid Prime 4. Check out Metroid Prime 4. If you consistently put out fake news, you'll definitely lose a lot of credibility. Yeah. I think he lost, the credibility was lost once again, the sales numbers came out. He was telling everybody that literally he had a title, nobody is buying Nintendo Switch 2. That's a title of a video a couple months ago. Nobody's buying it. Demand satiated. People aren't not buying it. Demand satiated. It's nobody cares. It's doing bad. It's flopping. And then the sales numbers come out. Then he puts out a damage control video saying, oh, well, it's shipped, not sold. And then he puts out another video after that saying it's the worst. It's the worst best-selling console of all. It's like a bunch of cope and seethe over the course of the last 3 months, you know? So like I said, yeah, I think people have checked out. At that point, people saw like the flip-flopping, the lying. They've checked out at this point. He's not getting those views like he used to get. MP4 will be my first Metroid game. I think MP4 will bring a lot of new players in, like me. I like early Halo games, and Metroid Prime 4 feels similar to a degree. In Halo, NPC dialogue and Marines seem a bit similar to the Federation Force in Metroid Prime 4, so that seems fine to me too. Yeah. Rent might be due, but yeah. Anyway, let's check out this. Let's see it for ourselves. We've got gameplay. We've got the overview trailer, and then we're gonna watch actual 11 minutes of gameplay itself. Thank you, Dane, for the $1 dono, man. I appreciate that. Let's go. Thank you for that support, brother. All right, so we're gonna pause that, and we're gonna get to this Metroid Prime 4 Beyond trailer. I am looking forward to it. I am looking forward to this game a lot, man. I am so hyped. Okay, let's go. I think they're showing Switch 2 because the Switch 2 is the best footage to show. Hey, what's up, Brian?
Explore a mysterious planet in this first-person adventure.
Oh, shout-outs, Brian. I see that.
Prime 4 Beyond.
It was an outgoing model. $650 for the OLED TV. Oh, that's great, Brian. Shout-outs, dude.
When the Galactic Federation UTO Research Center is attacked by arch-rival Silex, the lone hunter Samus Aran answers their distress call and becomes entangled in an unexpected disaster. She awakens on an unknown planet called Vuros. Now, she must fight to survive the planet and find a way home. As Samus, you will explore lush jungles full of plant life, a factory roaring with thunderous storms, a research lab frozen in ice, and a facility nestled in a volcano, all of which contain remnants of a civilization long extinct.
Real quick, I will pause just sometimes if I want to read something from somebody. Chrono Rig says, I'm sorry, but sometimes this journalists go extra. It's annoying. I actually like the companions, and I hope we get more lore about the universe. Yeah, like I said, we'll see the gameplay. You guys are seeing the footage right here. You guys are seeing it. It's still Metroid Prime. Like I said, I think, me personally, I think they're blowing something up. I don't think it's really that big of a deal. I think that it's going to be fun to kind of have some other people in there. I like other M's dialogue when it comes to some things, not everything, but when it comes to some things, I think the game is still going to feel like Metroid Prime 4. I think, like I said, there are some purists that if it's not like Metroid Prime 1 where you're by yourself 24/7 and there's nothing else, then it's the worst thing, or I don't like it, or if there's not, you know, just you walking around everywhere, I don't like it. But like I said, I think they added some nice little additions and touches, which you guys will see here in this trailer. So I'm going off of what I saw. I'm not going off of people doing previews.
Things. The maps are maze-like and intricately detailed. And ferocious beasts will stand in your way. The key to exploration is the scan visor, which you'll use to gather information from the environment. Why did this planet's civilization crumble? And what have they left behind? Could there be a clue to your escape? Scan various objects to collect and analyze information to find a way forward. Your core abilities include Samus's Power Beam, which can shoot rapid fire or charged, highly accurate target tracking missiles, the ability to jump.
The ability to jump, baby. Gotta have it.
Form-altering morph ball.
Kratos could never. I'm joking, by the way. But he actually, there is no jump button in the new God of War.
And dashing while locked on a target. During your adventure, you will also receive mysterious powers passed down on Vuros. Psychic abilities. Direct the control beam's trajectory with the power of your mind. And use the psychic glove to manipulate energy and activate machinery.
I mean, you can't jump in Hyrule Warriors either, so...
Harnessing these abilities, you can access new areas, greatly expanding the explorable world.
And as you can see here, in all these different areas, I just want to make sure that I point this out. In all these different areas, you don't see a bunch, and these are all full levels and stuff. You don't see a bunch of companions and a bunch of hand holding and a bunch of stuff. And look at look at how many different environments they just showed. Regular combat, regular stuff happening. This is why I don't really pay attention to the crazy, to the preview stuff. They just showed a bunch of gameplay right now that's just the straight up Metroid Prime. It's not doing all this crazy stuff that some are with the preview, once again, which is a slice of just showing off what it is, you know? So I just want to make sure that I point that out. This is what I'm basing my opinion off of. I am not basing it off of like purists and their alarm with anything, you know? All right, take it easy, Superpower Man. They never said anything about co-op or multiplayer. This was always in Nintendo's financial reports and in everything that they showed. This game was always a single player game. They never actually mentioned multiplayer or co-op or anything with this game. I know because I've been covering it since 2017 and they never actually mentioned that. Now, Bandai Namco's version might have been, maybe, but from what I remember, they never actually mentioned never mentioned multiplayer. So
the various zones are connected by a central desert called Soul Valley.
Soul Valley. I forgot the name during my video.
By obtaining Biola, a machine left behind by an ancient civilization, you can freely traverse the roadless desert as you head for each zone.
Got some battles out here.
Certain actions can be taken while riding Viola. These include countering attacks from approaching enemies and smashing crystals at high speed to convert them into the energy you'll need on your adventure.
What energy is that, though?
If Samus is in a location where she can ride Viola, it can be summoned instantly. And by dismounting, you'll return to a first-person perspective to continue exploring.
Anything that gets me out of first person, I like. If there's any type of thing, morph ball, if it's, on the bike, anything that gets me out of first person is a positive thing, in my opinion. Anytime that I can get out of first person, I'll take it. Is it the health that converts it to health? Anytime that I can get out of first person, I will take it. For those who don't know, I'm not a big first person guy. I like Metroid Prime, but I get nauseous while playing first person games. But I'm very happy that there is actual third person parts. Morph ball and the bike for the win.
Like Samus, some Galactic Federation troopers were also transported to Vuros.
Data received.
Follow distress signals to help the troopers and occasionally battle alongside them. They can even provide useful upgrades. Teamwork is key if any of you hope to escape the planet alive.
If you get some upgrades, you help them out, you get some new upgrades for Samus. Popping Dramamine like candy. I will not be doing that. You actually don't need too much Dramamine. Like, I think one tablet of Dramamine will help you for like 2 to 3 hours. So I'll be good for most sessions.
What do you say? Teammates?
It appears you require assistance.
I had no interest in anyone but my family. Now it's a little different.
When we get home, I hope we can keep the band together.
I can't wait to see my family. When I get back home, I'll be taking a much-needed leave.
A new fate and an unknown destiny await on planet Vuros.
This boss looks crazy.
Samus and her allies' fight to survive is about to begin.
There's some
Metroid
psychic.
Prime 4 Beyond.
Looks like there's some psychic connection between Silas and Samus right there. You can tell from that last part.
Available December 4th, only on the Nintendo Switch 2 and Nintendo Switch system.
Yeah, I prefer third
Pre-orders are
person.
available now on Nintendo.
I wish they
eShop.
actually made it to where it was like Resident
The
Evil
footage
4.
shown was from the Nintendo
but
Switch 2
I get
edition
it.
of the game. You can use mouse controls for intuitive gameplay on Switch 2. Simply adjust how you hold the Joy-Con 2 controllers to seamlessly swap between standard and mouse controls as you play. Plus, you can explore the immersive world in 4K
So,
at 60 frames
Real
per
quick,
second.
let's talk about this real quick. Okay, so I talked about this in my video. I'll talk about this here. Quality mode and performance mode. So people have been asking, what should you play? I think this is really based off of your setup in terms of what you should play. This is a Switch 1 game put over to Switch 2. So essentially what you're looking at here, The quality mode 4K, they're taking that Switch 1 version and they are just making it, boom, they are blowing that up to 4K. There's probably some extra texture work and some things here and there from what I'm looking at. There's some textures and details that I don't think they can do on Switch 1, but whatever, right? That's beside the point. What you're looking at is that, like, if you have a smaller TV or if you play on a monitor, the 120 FPS at 1080p will be fine. You're not going to see too much of a difference if you have a small monitor, like a 27-inch or a 24-inch monitor, and you're playing like that because you want to do, like, mouse mode. I don't really think that having it at 4K is really going to make the experience any different or not. However, if you're playing on a big TV, right, you got a 50-inch, 60-inch, 70-inch OLED TV or just HD TV, I think the 4K 60 is definitely going to be preferable because it's bigger TV, so you can actually see that extra, you know, pixel count. You can see that extra resolution compared to a smaller TV. So people always ask, people ask me, what should I put it at? And if these actually hold up, and this is what it is throughout the full experience, I recommend, once again, bigger TV, 4K 60, because 60 frames per second is fine. And then smaller TV, you might as well just get the extra frames, especially if you're on a monitor. It's going to be a little, maybe feel a little bit more responsive, depending on your setup. Once again, people have different setups, have different quality, monitor quality, and like the hertz of your monitor. All of that stuff is all important. Some TVs can't even take advantage of 120, so make sure that your TV can even take advantage of 120. A lot of TVs are 60, where they don't even have 120 FPS modes. So also keep that in mind too, that your TV might not even be able to handle it, or your monitor might not even be able to handle the 120 FPS. So you might as well just go with the quality mode. So yeah. Handheld, it says it right there. So I know the text is small, but it says it right there. Handheld, it's the same thing, but just a little bit lower. Handheld mode, 1080p 60 for quality. Handheld mode, 720p 120 FPS. So it's the same thing. Just drop the resolution just a bit lower. Like handheld mode, the highest resolution that you can get in handheld mode is 1080p. So they just go 1080p 60 for quality, 720p 120. Like for handheld mode, the screen native is 1080p. The screen native is, so I mean, running it at 720p 120 hertz, it might feel a bit smoother and better to play. You might be able to feel it, but you might not, you know, and it might look more soft than usual. It might look more soft than usual. Okay, yeah, you're okay. I'm explaining it. So for me personally, I'd have to test it out because there's not a lot of games that I've been able to play at 120 FPS on the Switch 2 screen, like the portable screen. Like most of the games I've played are 60. There is Silksong, but I don't remember. And Silksong's such a basic, you know, looking game. It's gonna look very different from a basic looking game like Silksong to a first person, you know, more graphically intense game like Metroid Prime. So I need to test. I need to test to see if it's a big deal or not, because it might look a lot softer in 720p. So it might not look as clear. And like one thing that you want in a first person shooter is you want it to be very like crystal clear. You want it to be sharp so you can see very well, right? Like especially like in a first person game, like where you can't see your body, you have to just gauge like your vision. You might want it to be a bit more clear running at 60 than it to be look a little bit more soft and it running at 120. Now the 120 though, you know, if there was multiplayer, I'd probably say, okay, yeah, like 120 multiplayer. If there was like co-op aspects, but like it just seems like a single player experience, right? So I don't know. I'm not sold on like the 120 yet, because like I'm having trouble even gauging like 120 FPS for games that do support it, like Silksong or like you know, my PC. I've been able to play some games like Hades, and it's hard to even tell. I'll be honest. Like with Hades and with games that do support it, I haven't been able to tell too much. And also on my PS5, I haven't been able to tell. Like I've played some games at 120 on my PS5, and it's hard for me to tell with some games at, you know, running between 60 and 120. Like I'm pretty sure it's happening. I'm pretty sure it's there, but it's just difficult, you know. Some of you guys might be more used to it though. I mean, I guess if you're playing a lot of games at 120. You might be more used to it, but I mean, I think that the 1080p 60 is fine, you know. I think that's fine. Mouse mode, maybe you'll swap to 120. I think that might be where it really is like a big difference, or like it really is like if you're using mouse mode, those extra fluidity, like when you're trying to like exactly point and shoot, I don't know if it has gyro. I think it has gyro controls. I think it might have that. So maybe if you're using gyro, it might be a bit smoother as well. You know, but I mean, like I said, I played Splatoon at 60 FPS and it feels just as smooth as any other, you know, game that I've played at 120, you know, but like I said, I'm not a PC guy. So I think that probably, like, if you're talking to like Evan or something like that, he might be able to, you know, describe or break down exactly, you know, what would be much better for that, you know? So yeah. So I'm going to emulate it 4K 240. Well, you'd be emulating the Switch 1 version of the game, right? So, I mean, I guess, I mean, have fun, but yeah, I want to play it on Switch 2 now. I want to play it on Switch 2. I want to play with all the HD rumble and all that good stuff. So, but yeah, I think you actually can still do that. I guess through emulation. I'm not sure. Let's see here. My eyes can see like 9 things per second, tops 9 FPS per second. No, you can see more than that. Develop your own Switch to emulator. All right, sounds good, Corey. Let's see here. It's crazy that Pokemon Pokopia is already #1 bestseller on Nintendo Switch 2 game, Amazon Japan. By the way, I love your content. Hope you're doing well. Well, I mean, it's a Pokemon game and it's Animal Crossing. People love Pokemon and Animal Crossing, so.
Or enjoy smoother action in full HD at 120 frames per second.
So yeah, that makes sense.
Choose from these 2 modes, both of which support HDR, based on your preference and play style.
Turns out this one playing Mass Effect Trilogy Legendary Edition in the Series X,
Nintendo
so I
Switch
kept
2
it on
edition
quality.
of the game can be played on Switch 2.
I don't remember what I played it on.
Please be sure to purchase the game edition that matches your system. Plus, Nintendo Switch 2 players who have Metroid Prime 4 Beyond on Nintendo Switch can upgrade to the Nintendo Switch 2 edition by purchasing the upgrade pack.
I saw somebody on Twitter make fun of this part where they were like, you know, why are they saying, oh, like, yeah, no, duh, you can play the Nintendo Switch 2 version on Nintendo Switch 2. But remember, and I want to be sensitive here because, like I said, he's the homie. But remember, there were people that were sitting there and saying, shout outs to Beanup. Like I said, not a negative thing. I'm not trying to hate. I don't want to. Shout outs to Beanup. He's the homie. I bought one of his, or I'm going to buy one of his grips for the Switch 2. Like, you know, he was saying that people might get confused, right? Like with Switch 1 and Switch 2 in the stores. So I think it's important that Nintendo actually says this. I think it's important, you know, just in case, right? Just cross your T's, dot your I's, right?
3 new Metroid Prime 4 Beyond series amiibo figures will also be available.
I got this
to unlock additional features in the game.
I got this one. I think I have the Samus Returns one as well. So I think I have the Samus Returns one. So, but I do have this one. That's the Metroid Dread amiibo. They were cheaper back then though. This was I think $30, and I think I have the Metroid. I have the Metroid. Oh no, sorry, this is Metroid Dread. I have the Samus Returns. Yeah, I have the Samus Returns one. I don't know where the Samus Returns one is though. I don't know where it's at, but I do have it. Maybe I'll pick it up. I'm not sure. I haven't bought it yet, but maybe I'll go in there and pick it up. When I do go in there and pick it up. All right, let's check out 11 minutes of gameplay. This is from GameSpot. They got 11 minutes of gameplay.
A bunch of the exciting new psychic abilities that Samus's suite of powers now includes. This video is a look at gameplay, but we recommend checking out our full preview, which digs into these powers and explores how they feel right at home in
I'll
the
pass on the
long-awaited
preview.
sequel.
Yeah.
You can see that preview here on our YouTube channel or read about it on GameSpot.com.
Yeah, I don't remember what I played I think I played Mass Effect at 120. Yeah, I think I played it at 120. Looked great. Looked and ran great. Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave seems to be either a prequel or a sequel to Fire Emblem Three Houses, but I don't think you're going to need to have to play the previous game to play Fortune's Weave. There's enough new characters. It's like all new characters for the most part. Alright, let's take a look at this gameplay though, man. Psychic Glove has been acquired. Enables remote manipulation of psychic motes. Switch to the Psychic Visor and hold ZL to grasp the target. Open the menu with minus. Check the inventory for more information about this ability. Okay. Alright, so let's see. X to switch to the Psychic Visor. Aim the mote and hold Z to grasp it. Aim at the mote. Release it with ZL to throw the mote. Okay. A little psychic toss. Ball toss. Got the classic ding, 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 ding. So where's all the people annoying you and bugging you 24/7? That's where's all the hand holding and all that in this gameplay? I was just waiting. I thought somebody was gonna be sitting there telling me what to do 24/7. What happened? You have to just like trace. This psychic hand holding. I mean, I don't see any hint system anywhere here.
We're good. Okay. I'm coming down.
This is the guy that everyone hates.
I'm a specialist, Miles McKenzie, engineer level 4. I have something for you. Hold on, I gotta
Kojima.
really override this.
These X7 stick a little. Come on.
You just gotta shoot that thing, right? I just gotta shoot it.
See? No biggie.
I don't think Samus talks. I haven't heard her. I mean, she might talk in some cutscenes, but I haven't heard her talk yet. I mean, she talked too much in Metroid Other M, right? But yeah, it seems like just kind of like a silly character that's gonna be around every now and then. Like, it doesn't seem like it's gonna ruin the whole game or anything. Like, that's why I said I don't really take people's previews and what they say. Like, I don't really take it seriously. Like on small slices of gameplay, it'll be fine. It'll be fun to just play through and have sometimes somebody else say something. It doesn't have to be the whole game is quiet, you know, except for monsters. You can have some other aspects.
Try your missile, Samus. Might be able to bounce right off the bridge.
Why does he sound out of place? I don't know what that means. Justin with the 3.
Did you see on the Nintendo UK YouTube channel they released a Kirby Air Riders rack?
No, I haven't. I'll check it out though. And once again, we're back. We're back to just having regular gameplay where there's nobody else. Obviously, you can tell in the top left-hand corner, there's nobody else there. There's nothing. I'm sorry. There's nothing to worry about. I'm not even trying to, like, you know, like damage control or anything like that. Like, legitimately, there's nothing to worry about. I'm watching the gameplay. It looks like Metroid Prime. The graphics look great. The gameplay seems like Metroid Prime. They added a few new different elements that are in other games because it's not Metroid Prime 1 through 3. That's fine by me, man. It looks great. I'm not worried at all. Zero. If anything, I'm more excited to play the game now. The psychic, baby. We out here. This bull is traveling. Like I said, some Metroid fans are crazy. I don't think it's like it's some Metroid. It's just some Metroid fans are crazy. That's really it. Like they're purists. They have to have everything the way that they want it, just like Prime 1, or it's like it's gonna ruin everything, you know? Which is silly to me. Where's all the hand holding? Where's all the other end people helping 24/7? That's what they were saying. Man, no, it's not. It's Metroid Prime. Like I said, I'm only going off of what I'm seeing. The actual gameplay. This is the actual gameplay, and that's what I'm seeing. Like I said, I'm not saying that there aren't parts like that. I'm just saying I don't think it's going to be the whole experience 24/7. It ain't that, because we're literally watching it right now. That's all I'm trying to say. I'm just judging it from the experience, not based off of a small clip and what other people are saying. I'm just going off of what I'm seeing. And I'm seeing Metroid Prime. That's what I'm seeing. Talks about the extra characters may be in the minority, but Prime got boring after just being alone. MP4 looks great. Death of Day 1. Yeah, shout out to LP. Like I said, I think that's what they're trying to do, like for like the game. They're trying to add it to where there's like a bit more dynamic. Like I get that a lot of purists just want it to be Samus by herself 24/7, and that's what they want. But I think that if you want to appeal just maybe to a little bit more people, I think having some type of dialogue and some type of something else like would be okay for the game. Like I don't think it's like a deal breaker or anything. I don't think it's gonna like ruin the whole game. Like I don't believe in that. I don't believe, not after what I've seen, because the gameplay is too good. The game looks too good to say that it's gonna ruin the whole thing. That just doesn't compute in my brain, you know? Thanks for the $5 dono though, I appreciate it. I'm just not worried. I'm just not. What's up, Epic? Yeah, maybe because I play JRPGs, so maybe that's the thing. I play JRPGs, so you come across the characters like that and all that, so it's not a problem for me. I know it's Metroid Prime, it's obviously not a JRPG, but still, it's like, it's not the same game. It's different games. Different games do different things. Got the Morph Ball. Another best part about... Oh, no. Is it the bomb? Yeah, Psychic Bomb. Let's go. Concussive Blast of Psychic Bombs damages enemies. So that, of course, now you can use the bomb to go through that area. Let's see here. I always say, why would any big franchise suck? It's always happened. Like that's likely to. Coming from irritated Nintendo purists. Yeah. I mean, yeah, of course. I mean, Xbox and PlayStation fans who don't play Metroid would think of it as pretty normal to have that type of thing. But obviously, it's from purists. And once again, we all know purists are the smallest minority when it comes to stuff like this. So once again, when the game comes out, you guys will see what I'm talking about. There's an 8-minute preview, but I'm not watching that. So you guys will see exactly what I'm talking about once the game comes out. The preview looks dope here. I like what I saw. So a couple different things that I thought was great. Shout outs to GameSpot for this one. What I thought was dope was, of course, the psychic abilities. Those look really cool. I think that's great. They didn't show too much of more of like just like the straight up gameplay of the bike parts. So maybe we'll see about that. I don't know how involved that's even going to be. It seems like you're just going to get to be able to like go from one hub area to like another, or like it's like a hub area connecting different places that you can go to. You might even be able to just like teleport there, you know, like just like fast, quick travel off your map. So I'm not sure how much that's going to even be a thing or not. Once again, we'll see. But yeah, I think sound design, top tier. Graphics, sound design, presentation, unreal. I think that they've done a great job with that. Obviously, it's not utilizing everything that the Nintendo Switch 2 could do, a game built for the ground up. So I'm very excited to see exactly if we do get a Metroid Prime 5 or we do get a next Metroid Prime something. I'm very excited to see what they can do built from the ground up, because this looks great. I think the artistic direction is just as good as it was back in the day. Like, this reminds me of, man, like, this is how I thought Metroid Prime looked back on the GameCube. Clearly Metroid Prime didn't look as good as this, but my brain thought that it looked like this. You guys get what I'm saying right now? Like, you ever seen a game, like, when you played it, you're like, oh wow, this is like the greatest looking thing that you've ever seen, and then obviously years or decades pass, you're like, okay, that didn't look that great, right, in comparison to like what we have now. But this is exactly what I thought Metroid Prime looked like back then, you know. So so I do think it's pretty cool. Once again, I do think it's pretty dope in that sense. The shooting, the actual shooting, like the psychic abilities and like the powers, all that looks pretty good. I know somebody in the chat said like they don't like the fact that you have to dash, you have to lock on. I think it's maybe so you don't get disoriented. In a first-person shooter, if like you dash in certain ways really kind of uncontrollably, it can kind of disorient you overall. But if you lock on, then obviously having a dash will be more controlled. A lot of first-person games, there are like no like dodge or dash buttons. I mean, some there are, but a lot there aren't. I know like maybe Doom has it. I don't remember 100%. There might be some abilities for that, but usually it's just kind of like, you know, you want to keep it kind of centered. It almost feels like it's like a Z targeting, right, for a first-person shooter, because like that's what it feels like when you're playing like a Zelda game, for example, where if you want to have access to certain abilities, like you want to be able to do like the backflip, right, or you want to be able to do like the side little jump, or like certain attacks, it's like you got to lock on. If you don't lock on, then you don't have abilities or you don't have access to do that. And I kind of feel like that's how Metroid Prime was kind of made too as well, kind of like a first-person Z targeting system overall. But yeah, like when it comes to the game, man, it looks great. I'm looking forward to the previews have been good so far, outside of, once again, you know, people saying, oh, there's too much hand-holding, or there's too much people saying stuff, or too many other people. And it's like, I watched gameplay there, and it seemed like a lot of just Metroid Prime style gameplay. It seemed very similar to what we've done before. So I'm going based off the gameplay. I'm not going based off of people saying it's this or that. But I actually welcome the dialogue. I think it's fine. You know, I've never been a Metroid Prime purist. I actually like 2D Metroid more than 3D Metroid, but I will say that, like, you know, 2D Metroid also has that isolation and stuff too, but that's never what I felt was the best thing about the game. Like, I always felt the best things about Metroid games were not that it was isolation. I know that's part of the environment, but was because of the gameplay. The gameplay was fun. The backtracking and getting certain abilities, then going back and finding certain places, and then being able to have like great controls and shooting and upgrades and power-ups. That's what made Metroid great to me. It was not the fact that I'm by myself. Like, that's fine if I'm by myself, but that was not what made Metroid Prime, or that's not what made Metroid to me Metroid. It was always about the combat. It was always about the story of Samus. It was always about the cool boss fights. It was always about, obviously, these are some of the best looking games that Nintendo's ever done in Nintendo's history. Metroid games usually have better graphics. It was about the look. It was about the music. It was about everything else. The isolation thing was just another thing, but it wasn't anywhere near what made Metroid the experience, to me at least. Now, I know, obviously, that's a key part of an experience. It's obviously not a JRPG, or it's not like where you have a party and all that. So, I mean, I get that, but that's not what made Metroid great to me. The gameplay centered around being a lone warrior. So it was great because of all the other things surrounding that. Not because there was not somebody else at some point saying, hey, what's that? Or, hey, you know, whatever, this or that, or talking to you. That's not what made the Metroid experience to me, at least. Once again, I'm not a purist, though. I'm not like a hardcore, it has to be like this. Like, I don't mind trying something new or trying something different, as long as they have the great gameplay, the great controls, the great graphics, the great sound, all the other stuff. Like, if they want to try something new, I'm fine with that. So that's my take on it, at least. So thank you guys. I appreciate those that are watching. If this obviously goes up later, my reaction to it. But yeah, I'm excited. Looking forward to a Metroid Prime 4 Beyond. So yeah, what do you guys think? Of course, if you're watching chat, you guys let me know. And of course, comment section, you guys let me know as well. All right, let's get into the chat though. We got to get back into the chat here, what you guys have to say. I recorded that video, so I mean, that might be up on the channel and might not. We'll see. I do want to go over a couple other things though. Apparently there's a Kirby rap that Justin talked about here. So let's add in some of these combos though. We got 10. I think we actually hit the goal here. Yeah, I think we did. 10, 13. So let's go. That is 102 on the board. Thank you guys for the overclocks. 102. Limit break in the house as well. Shout out to Justin. Thank you for the 3. Big love. Limit break. Let's go. Nintendo UK. We're gonna check out the Kirby rap as well from Nintendo UK. I don't see it. Nintendo UK, so I'm gonna try to find it, and you guys can ask me questions here. Metroid has been an exploration in gameplay, one of the only games I like backtracking in. I don't know if I even love backtracking that much. It's just something that's part of it. So, yeah. So you said Nintendo UK put out a Kirby rap. Is that okay? Yeah, I see what I see what you're talking about. It's right here. It's 30 seconds long. So maybe we can also do like a short for live reaction to the Kirby rap as well. Right, so, oh man, a 30-second Kirby rap. Okay. So a 30-second Kirby rap has just dropped. Hold up. Okay, so a 30-second Kirby rap is just dropped. Okay, what's all this about? We gotta see what this is going on about here.
What's that, huh? Air Riders. What's that, huh? Air Riders. Kirby has loads of machines, uses poppy abilities. Make sure you're fast and strong. Collect items as you go along. Wow! Giant bird from the sky. That's one big eye. What? That's a really sweet ride. Get ready to fly!
Air Riders! Oh my gosh, bro, what was that? I gotta listen to it again, yo. What was that?
What's that, huh? Air Riders. What's that, huh? Air Riders. Kirby has loads of machines, uses poppy abilities. Make sure you're fast and strong. Collect items as you go along. Wow! Giant bird from the sky. That's one big eye. What? That's a really sweet ride. Get
that Drake?
ready to fly!
Yo, no, it's actually kind of smooth, bro. What you mean? Hold up. Hold up. No, man, that was actually kind of cool. You guys have to have it lighten up a little bit, man. They ain't gonna try to put out Kendrick Lamar. It's a little Kirby rap. It's 30 seconds long. This man acting like it's freaking the worst ever. I thought it was kind of funny. I don't know. That's just me though. Like I said, the worst part of Air Riders is this BS right here. The worst part of Air Riders is a 30-second song. All right, sounds good. Let's see. Oh, I loved it. Gave me Pokemon Kids WB vibes. Yeah, like it was not bad at all. Some of y'all just miserable. Some of y'all just miserable, bro. Why is that? Why is it a Kirby rap? Why not? Like, why not have a Kirby rap? Like, what's why not? Why not have it? We've had 5 million previews of hour-long presentations. Why not have a 30-second Kirby rap? Why not? Can you watch the Japanese version of the rap? I want to see the difference. I don't know if there's a Japanese version of the rap. I don't know if there is. There's not a US version. I don't think US put that out, so I don't think there is a Japanese version of it. So yeah, I'm not sure. I am not sure. Was the Dragoon confirmed before? Oh yeah, Sakurai already confirmed the Dragoon. Yeah, he already confirmed the Dragoon. Fire marketing right there. Fire, baby. Some of y'all take this stuff way too serious. You can't be taking Kirby so seriously, bro. Y'all want it to be hardcore. Want them to hire Kendrick Lamar or something like that, or hire freaking Drake, or hire Eminem. Let's see. As we know, Misery Loves Company. I present you social media, bro. I'm telling you. So yeah. I'm excited for the campaign for Kirby Air Riders. That will be my main mode. Yeah, I'm looking forward to playing the campaign too. I think it's gonna be good. Kendrick Lamar been real quiet since this dropped. Kendrick Lamar got nothing on this, bro. He got nothing on. What the heck is up with my? We do not have 8,000 combos. I mean, that'd be dope, but we don't have that. Shout outs, guys. Appreciate the support though, for real. No, it's all good. It's all good. Not everyone's gonna like everything when it comes to music, or when it comes to certain marketing stuff. Like, not everyone's gonna love everything. So yeah, it makes sense. It's all good. Also, make sure you guys check out my thoughts. I have an extended thoughts on Metroid Prime, so if you haven't seen it, check it out. I have a video for you guys here as well, so make sure you guys watch that. Put it in your watch later. Help a brother out. Watch that when it comes down to it. So yeah. The Japanese version sounds better. Okay, is there a Japanese version? Okay. There's a span. Okay, so it looks like they have all sorts of versions of it. I mean, you guys can go seek it out. I'm not here to find the best version of the Kirby rap, okay? I don't think it really matters at this point. I don't think it really matters about who had the best version of the Kirby rap. It's 30 seconds long, so I don't think it's a big deal. I think it's just something silly and fun. Let's see here. I get game criticisms, but the crap I see nowadays is complaints about marketing. I think that is probably one of the more silly things is that you've got like randos that literally sit there and complain about marketing for a game that is getting marketing. And it's fine. Like, Nintendo's been marketing their games just fine. I'm not saying that everything's perfect with the marketing, but goodness gracious, people act like the marketing is so bad and nobody knows anything. It's just silly to me. It's just silly. They do the same stuff. There's a trailer, there's a couple different trailers, there's like gameplay, there's preview. It's like the same thing. Every game is almost essentially the same thing. Now, yes, the Kirby Directs are a bit different, but that's Sakurai literally editing and doing the stuff that he wants to do. Nintendo's game marketing for like all their games is like the same for the most part, you know?
The rap was just dumb fun, it's not serious.
Yeah.
Well, also I noticed a new version of the Target flight that was way more elaborate. It looks like this time around the stadium events will get more difficult.
I would like to see that because I think that the stadium events right now for some people are like, wait a minute, like I said, we do this for 5 minutes and then it's so simple. So if they get more elaborate or we can do more in a row afterwards to really use all those power-ups that we got, I think that City Child becomes something that's even more fun for people online to play. So yeah. Do you think Pokemon Pocopia is going to be as popular as Animal Crossing? No, I don't think Pokemon Pocopia is going to be as popular as Animal Crossing. No, because nothing's as popular as Animal Crossing. So. What game is sold as well as what game is sold as well as Animal Crossing? How many games in that genre sell 50 million units? Like literally nothing. Animal Crossing is one of the greatest selling games of all time. Like how in the world is Pokemon Pocopia gonna do that well? It doesn't make sense, right? So what we got to do though, guys, and not to say anything, you Poke, but like we got to stop. Like with like all-time best-selling games, we got to stop trying to compare it to them and say, oh, you didn't get people. Like it's like most of the time it's no. Most of the time it's no. If a game sells 50 million copies or something, whatever, if it was COVID boost or not, whatever the case is, chances of it being as popular as that are slim to none. You know? Like I said, I'm not trying to find out what the best version of the Poke or of the Kirby rap, but I'll do it since you attach it to a dono, Dane. I will take a look at it. I will take a look at it. But yeah, it's not that serious. I don't really care about the Kirby rap, guys. Like it's not. It's not that big of a deal. I mean, I'm kind of Kirby Air Ridered out too. I mean, when it comes down to it, like the game's coming out next week, we can enjoy it then. But yeah, I'll check it out. I will check it out. Oh man. But yeah, I don't care about who has the best version of the Kirby rap. It's not that big of a deal. But I will take a look at it. Let me take a look. Okay, here we go. Give me 1 second. Let me pause this. Let me get to this. All right. All right, here we go. It's the same thing. You just don't understand the language. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. This is exactly what people. This is exactly what people talk about. This is exactly what people talk about. Random previews popping up on my screen. People talk about Metroid autoplay. This is what I'm talking about. Like when people, it's like the same way that people might not understand. Like they'll say something sounds cooler in Japanese. It can be the exact same thing. But since you don't speak the language, all of a sudden it's like, oh, it's great. You know what I'm saying? Because it's in a language that you don't understand. It was the exact same thing. That's all it was. It was the exact same. It was the exact same thing. You guys just find the Japanese language more cool. That's all it is. It had the same cheesy undertones. It had the exact same. It had the exact same cheesy lines. The delivery and the lyrics were the exact same. I don't understand Japanese, but the lyrics were exactly the same, but just Japanese. I did see the target flight, but it's literally the same exact thing.
The target flight in the rap.
Yes, I saw. It's the exact same thing. It's the exact same thing. It's the same tone. It's the same delivery. It's just the language. You guys just like Japanese more. Japanese just sounds more cool. It just does. Some languages sound more cool than other languages. Let's just be real here, right? We got to be real here. And usually languages that you don't speak or that you're not used to hearing sound more cool than, Japanese is probably like one of the coolest sounding languages of all time, And I think most people would probably say, yeah, Japanese language sounds cool. Like, it just sounds dope. But I've listened to enough Japanese and I've heard enough, and I used to take Japanese. I used to be able to speak it better. Obviously, I'm trash now, but I used to be able to. And, dude, the delivery was the exact same. It was cheesy. It was corny. It was lighthearted. It was the exact same delivery, but with the female voice instead of a male voice. It was the exact same thing. I'm not gonna listen. I bet it sounds okay, but I'm not gonna sit here and act like it was so much better because I can't hear what the person's. I can't understand it, and because it's Japanese. I'm not, man. I'm not gonna do that. No problem. I have no problem reacting. It's all good. I don't remember the weird Canvas curse commercial. No. Nobody would believe in 2016 that Zelda game could surpass 8 million, but did nothing. Nothing's impossible. Yeah, I see what you're saying, Poke, but I just don't think that Pokemon Pocopia is going to sell as much as Animal Crossing. I just don't think so. I just don't think that's going to be the case. I don't think that's a real thing. Just don't think that's a real thing. Japanese sounding more cool than Brits is my argument to why it sounds better. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying that people just think that the Japanese language sounds better than, like, that guy sounded like he had an accent, like he spoke English in an accent. No offense to my like I said, depending on how your accent is. You know what I'm saying? Like, depending on how your accent is, I think some people just don't find like a UK. It kind of sounded like an African who immigrated to the UK and was rapping in English. That's what it sounded like to me. Like I said, for the UK, it sounded like an African that had maybe lived in the UK for like 3 or 4 years and decided he wanted to take up rap. I'm not exactly sure what that UK voice was. That's what it sounded like to me. So yeah. Because it didn't sound like a UK rapper. Like, UK rappers have a distinct sound to them. Like, they sound like that one guy. What's the They all sound like this guy right here. Like this guy. They all.
2 + 2 is 4. -1, that's 3. Quick maths. Everyday man's on the block. Smoke trees. Your girl in the park. That girl was a uckers. When the thing went quack, 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 you man were ducking.
Ducking.
He's got a pumpy.
They all sound like this.
My man. He's got a frisbee. I trap on the road. Moving that cornflakes.
Oh my gosh.
Rice crispy. All time my girl Whitney.
This is how they sound.
On the road doing 10 toes. Lama toes. You man fought, I froze. I see a pen girl, then I
Big shock.
If she's not on it, I ghost. Ha! Look at your nose. What? You dickhead? Look at your nose.
Look at your nose.
Long like garden hose.
Garden hose.
You get me?
You get me?
Boom. Man's gonna come back in.
Yeah.
You know like that? You're feeling that?
Yeah,
You done know. I see you shivering in that. Don't get shook, man's ear. You're protected, yeah?
Let's do it.
The thing goes and the boom.
That's how all UK rappers sound. It's a good flow though, but that guy did not sound like that. He did not sound like that at all. So like, I'm gonna sit there and say I'm not sure. They should have picked Big Shaq. They should have got Big Shaq for that one. They should have got Big Shaq for that one. That would have been better for sure. That would have been better for sure. Oh man. The UK guy, they messed up. The thing go boom pop, boom pop, scrap pop 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 boom. Oh my gosh, this is still my favorite meme. Oh yeah, that was the best thing ever. Like when that happened, I was like, yo, this is actually really funny. So that's to Justin, man. Thank you for the $3 dono. Yes, I did see the Target Flight thing though. Justin is, man, he is ready for Kirby Air Riders, man. He is absolutely ready for Kirby Air Riders. Let's see, I'm a mathematical fanatical. Let me those integrals. The dub versus sub nonsense again. I've been around the chaos earlier 2000 anime fandom. Still to this day, Yu Yu Hakusho dub is better than the subs, no matter what people's criticism. So here's the funny thing about Yu Yu Hakusho. I never watched the original subs. I only watched it dub, and I felt that the dub language was good, but I have seen it in Japanese, and I think it's fine as well. But the dub language is fine too. But Yu Yu Hakusho has a good dub. Like, I don't know, Kuwabara! Like, that dude's voice must have been cooked. Like, I feel bad for the guy who did Kuwabara's voice. That voice just, ooh, you gotta put extra, like, you gotta put some extra in there, you know, for Kuwabara's voice. But no, it's the dub is fine with Yu Yu Hakusho. It's completely fine. Most people watched it dubbed. Most people, if you grew up back then, you didn't watch it subbed because it didn't come out here sub first. At least I don't know where you watched it, because it was on Adult Swim in the butt of the night, like midnight, once a week on Saturdays. That's how you watched Yu Yu Hakusho back in the day. Now, obviously you have, like, you know, you have all the streaming services now, like you have the, you know, Crunchyroll and whatever the case is, all that stuff. But back then there was none of that. There was no online streaming for anime. Like, there was Analinks. I think there was Analinks like towards the mid to late 2000s. But when I was watching Yu Yu Hakusho in like 2000, there was no Analinks. There was no anything to watch all the anime. So it was whatever they dubbed, you were watching. Whether it was Dragon Ball Z, whether it was Sailor Moon, you know, Yu Yu Hakusho, Naruto, whatever the case was. Although I did start watching Naruto, like there was already, you know, like places online that you can watch Naruto, like by the time that, you know, so I was watching that in Japanese, so subbed. But for like a lot of those animes, man, Rurouni Kenshin, Gundam Wing, all that stuff, you were watching it, it was all subbed. It was not, it was all dubbed. It was all dubbed, you know? So yeah. I'm beyond excited to play it. Just getting the Australian version that and got the day off. Oh my gosh, my man's going to Australia. Let's go. My man's going to Australia. Let's go, man. Yeah, I mean, like I said, some of it was on like I think like Tenchi Muyo. I think they did Tenchi like on Adult Swim as well. But I just remember watching a ton of anime on Toonami. You know, like I said, you know, Rurouni Kenshin, Sailor Moon, Dragon Ball Z, Yu Yu Hakusho, Gundam Wing, Outlaw Star. Like Vampire Hunter, or I don't know if Vampire Hunter D was on there. I don't think about Vampire Hunter D, but I watched Vampire Hunter D back in the day. All sorts of stuff, man. All sorts of stuff. Let's see here. Thought it was a recent Hunter Hunter. No, Hunter Hunter is like there's like two separate versions. There's like a 99 version and there's like a remixed like 2011 version or 2010 version or whatever. I'm guessing you watched the 2010 or 2011 Hunter Hunter. But no, it's not like new. It's a couple decades old now at this point. Dragon Ball GT on the VHS tapes. Oh yeah, I remember those old Dragon Ball GT VHS tapes. Yeah, there's like a few episodes on there. Like a lot of them were trash too. Oh man. Yeah, I watched the Hunter Hunter. I watched all of Hunter Hunter. I watched the 2011 version. I watched it back. I remember. I think it was like 2021 I watched all of Hunter Hunter. It was like I think it was 2021. Yeah, 2021 I watched all of Hunter Hunter. At least all that was available. It was great. It was very good. Very good. I love Hunter Hunter. But then again, if you love Yu Yu Hakusho, you're probably going to like Hunter Hunter. Same person that did it. So yeah, Yu Yu Hakusho and Hunter Hunter have a lot of similarities, of course. Very unique ways of calculating power, very unique abilities, like the differences, like, you know, Dragon Ball Z, a lot of the abilities are like the same, with the exceptions. Obviously, people have signature moves, but a lot it's like, then like, you know, do power, like raw power and stuff like that, right? Shooting beams, and Yeah, there's like some stuff like Solar Flare and all that, but like Hunter x Hunter and Yu Yu Hakusho, it's like completely different, you know, like styles and how people fight each other. You know, it's like, oh, one person got a sword, one person can shoot a, you know, spirit gun. You know, one person got a yo-yo that can like, one person got a yo-yo. You know, some people are just like big brawlers, you know, like, you know, Kurama has like a whip and can transform, you know, it's like very different styles and types like of power. Same thing with Hunter x Hunter. Hunter x Hunter is like really weirdo clown that can, you know, like how Killua fights compared to how Gon is, like enhancers compared to other types of power types, like it's really weird and awkward, you know, so it makes the battles feel like, okay, you don't know how this is gonna go, like, or because like they do really weird types of abilities and things in Hunter x Hunter and in Yu Yu Hakusho. So yeah, I love it. Love both of those. What up, CBH? Welcome. Let's see. Watch the OG first and then switch because the Chimera Ant Arc wasn't on the OG. Yeah, the Ant Arc is good. I have not seen the OG though. I have not seen the OG, and I don't think I plan on watching the OG one. But yeah, the Ant Arc is great. It's really good. Do you think Dispatch will get Game of the Year nominations? No. It's too late for Dispatch, to be honest, because they already planned out the Game of the Year. If you mean the Keeley Awards, no. If you mean other people's awards, sure. But the Keeley Awards, no. I think it was too late for that game. Lots of folks say Hunter x Hunter has the best battle system. I would definitely say Hunter x Hunter has one of the better battle rules, mechanics, and systems. And the great thing about Hunter x Hunter is that you don't learn about it gives me chills. They don't even know about how it works until like many episodes in, and it's explained to them when they go somewhere. So like they're fighting and they're doing other things beforehand, but they don't even really know how it works till somebody really explains it to them. And that's like, it's like I had to actually pause it, rewind, and like listen to it again because it's kind of intricate in terms of how the power system works in there. So I thought it was very good. I thought it was very well done. But it's a little confusing at first, but then like I was like, okay, let me watch it again. I'm like, oh, okay, I understand, you know. But yeah, it's really good. It's much better than a lot of other animes out there where it's like, okay, the person who has like the most brute strength usually wins, right? Or the person like, you know, I know Naruto's is a little bit different, but they all work on a general phase. But there's a lot of different types of styles of people in like Naruto as well. Like, but generally speaking, it's like whoever has the highest, right, ninjutsu skill, that can do the most power, that can summon the most chakra at a time, can usually get the leg up. Or if you're just incredibly crafty, like, you know, like Itachi or something like that, right? That's usually how the fights will play out. Or if you're incredibly smart, like Shikamaru. So there are some times where it's not that. But yeah, I would say Hunter x Hunter is a bit more even unique than like Naruto's, you know, so. It's the arena battle. Yeah, the arena battle where they explain like how Nen works. That was great. Like I said, I didn't understand it at first because it was kind of confusing, like with the amount of different types of, you know, like I said, styles that like of like who, like how you manipulate your energy, right? So like in Naruto, there's like only like one style of it's like, okay, everything flows through chakra. Now, obviously, like, there's bloodlines and like who can have access to this or that based off of genetics. So there is that, and it's great. But not quite as, like, I would say it's cool and I like it. I like Naruto more than Hunter x Hunter, I think. But I like the way that Hunter x Hunter handled theirs. It's really good. Game of the Year announcements are on Monday. We might be live streaming early Monday morning. 9 a.m. or like all of the Game of the Year announcements and stuff like that. So yeah. So the only indie for Game of the Year is Silksong. I think Hades could be in there. There's the Blueprints as well. Those are all 3 high-level, high-ranking indie games. You know, Hades is actually the best rated game of 2025. New game of 2025. So we'll see. That's what I like about One Piece. Some of the most powerful people in the show didn't even have devil fruits, and they were really good. I'm gonna get into One Piece. I think I'm just gonna wait for the One Piece Kai version. Apparently there's a One Piece Kai version coming. I'm gonna wait for that. Then I'll probably get into One Piece then, because I'm not watching like 1,000 episodes. That's insane. I only have one life, and I'm not wasting my life watching 10,000 episodes of One Piece. So yeah, I think I'll wait on that Kai version. Naruto needs a Kai version as well. Naruto needs a Kai version. Dragon Ball Z got it, and I don't care what anybody says. Dragon Ball Kai is legit incredible. It is like, it is so good. If you value your time, watch. If you haven't watched Dragon Ball Z and you want to get into it, watch Dragon Ball Kai. Boom! It's boom, 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 boom. It gets right into it, man. It gets right into it. No more for like 50 episodes, you know, in a row. Like I used to hate that back in the Toonami days. On the last episode of Dragon Ball Z, Goku is still charging up for a spirit bomb. Will he charge? Well, let's find out. The whole episode. The whole episode. Then all of a sudden, Goku, can you get the spirit bomb ready? Oh no! It's like, bro. Find out on the next episode of Dragon Ball Z. Will Goku continue charging the spirit ball? Well, find out. It's like, no, bro, we just got here. Yeah, I'm out, bro. Dragon Ball Kai got rid of all that crap. Got rid of all that crap, man. So I'm gonna wait for the Kai version of One Piece. I'm gonna wait for that. Naruto desperately needs a Kai version. Desperately needs a Kai version, because I think Naruto can get even more popular if there wasn't 5 billion fillers. That Naruto has a lot of fillers. Lot of fillers. Let's see here. Nah, you gotta watch the OG Dragon Ball Z with the huge time lapses. Nah, I ain't watching that crap. Well, actually, I already watched it. I've already seen it. My friend let me borrow the whole DVD set, and it was all the regular. Or was it Kai he let me borrow? It might have been Kai. My friend A-Trey. It might have been Kai. I don't remember. But I watched Kai and it's way better. Or was that later I watched it? Anyway, I've seen the original. I watched it like on Toonami back in the day and all that. So I've seen the whole thing. But for me, Kai, I watched Kai. I was like, this is way better, dude. This is way better. Way better. The pacing in One Piece is pain, though. Yeah, that's why I need the Kai version. Says Luffy be fighting a villain for like, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's why I need the Kai version. In Dragon Ball Z, Goku fought Frieza. They were on Planet Namek for like 80 episodes, bro. In Kai, it's like 7 episodes. Like, it's like, I'm over here watching Bulma cook food for Namekians that don't even eat food. She's throwing food at Krillin. I'm over here watching Goku train in the Saiyan space pod for like 17 episodes. Like, I'd probably say this though. The thing that got me the most angry, there's only been a few times in my life that I've been so angry that I want to literally punch a wall. The time that the Mariners lost in the playoffs against the Yankees in 2001 and they had that great team with Ichiro, I punched a wall. There was another time, that's one of the most maddest times I've ever been. Another time was, I was watching Toonami and Goku got to planet Namek and he just got there and they're fighting against they're getting their butts beat. Raccoon is bodying these guys. Cooked Vegeta, about ready to cook everybody. Raccoon was just cooking everyone. Goku gets there and then they're like, find out on the next episode, will Goku do this? And then I was like, great. I waited for the next day. I turned it on and Goku was on freaking Snake Way. Bro, I blew a gasket. I legitimately blew a gasket. I was like, you've got to, like, I started spazzing, bro. Like, I don't think I've ever been so mad about something in my life. Like, oh my God, that made me angry. I was so mad when that happened. The fact that I'm talking about it now, 20 something years later, I was so angry. I was so angry. Oh man. Well, Raccoon broke Gohan's neck in the uncensored version. In the censored version, he definitely did not break Gohan's neck. He definitely did not break Gohan's neck in the censored version. So like the version that I was watching, Gohan's neck was not broken. Just like Vegeta, I think Vegeta broke, what's it called? He broke somebody's neck, didn't he? Vegeta broke somebody's neck. Who do you need? I think he was it Birder? That he kneed and smashed him, like killed him? I forgot exactly how, but I know that the censored, like the Kai version was uncensored, and I know that it was like where we saw all of it, but the Toonami versions were censored, like to a degree. So yeah, like all of that stuff that actually happened, like didn't. So I'm talking about, like, I was so angry. That was the Toonami version, uncensored. Kai, DBZ, Kai, wait, Kai was censored? What? I don't remember that being censored. I don't remember Kai being censored. The Japanese Kai was censored? Anyway, I've seen it uncensored and censored. I've seen it both, because I remember what you're talking about. So anyway. I've never been so angry in my life. That made me, and I literally, I wanted to, I was trying to find ways. This was like, internet was around, but it wasn't like around, but I remember going online and trying to find out where Toonami was. Like, where actually is Toonami? Like, I was gonna ask, like, my mom to drive me there, or if I can go there so I can complain. Like, I was that angry. I was like, how dare them do this to me? You know, I can't believe this. I was, oh my God. Like I said, I literally flipped out. I've never been so mad about something in my life. That really made me angry. But anyway, yeah, I ended up watching all of it, obviously. Yeah, Kai was definitely censored. Okay. Yeah, that's not as good then. So I can see why some people, but I remember watching Dragon Ball Z uncensored. So I don't know where I watched, because like Toonami was censored. So I don't remember where I watched it uncensored, but I've definitely seen, I think it was the DVDs that my friend gave me. Yeah, I think it was the DVDs. I think the DVDs were uncensored, and I watched, my friend Atron had the whole volume set of Dragon Ball Z, and I think that was uncensored, and I watched that. I think that's what was uncensored. Kai I just watched later, and I just watched all the way through it again. So okay, yeah, I think that's what happened there. So yeah, the DVD sets, I watched it on TV, and then I watched the DVD sets, and I think those were uncensored, and then I remember watching Kai. So that's why my memory's mixed, but once again, we're going on like 20 years here, guys. I watched this a long time ago, you know? Toonami Midnight Run was uncensored for Dragon Ball Z. Okay, maybe that's where some of my memory is blending together. I've seen Dragon Ball Z so many times, you know? Pokemon probably the most number of episodes in an anime. Pokemon has a lot. Pokemon has a lot. DVDs were uncensored. I had a few, never the whole box set. Okay, yeah, there we go, Egomaniac. That's where I watched. The DVDs were uncensored. I'm trying to remember, because like, remember this was at not my mom's. It was previous. It was like 2 houses ago at my mom's house. I remember my friend A-Train. I think it was like around 2006, if I'm not correct. So yeah, we're going on 20 years ago. It must have been like, I think it was like 2006 or 2007. One of those years, because I remember I was at my mom's old house. So yeah, it was a while ago. And I think I had like a big screen TV, like a big screen TV back then. So it was a while ago. We were still somewhat in the non-HD era, you know? Hey, what's up, Party Man? Says I need to watch that Prime 4 trailer. Oh yeah, it was great, man. We were watching it, Party Man. We reacted to it. It was solid. It was good. It was good. I really enjoyed that trailer, man. I really enjoyed it. So yeah. So DBZ America for me is not good. They changed the soundtrack too much. Spanish version is where it's at. The Spanish version, all right. I had the final fight with Frieza on VHS and was shocked to see him get cut in half like that. Oh yeah, but even like on the uncensored version, they showed him get cut in half like that. Yeah, even like the censored version. I'm pretty sure they just showed him getting cut in half. Goku versus Frieza dragged on way too long as well. Yeah, not in Kai. Like I said, yeah, because he'd be sitting there with the freaking spirit ball for 10 years, you know, like, but not in Kai. That was quick. It was like a couple episodes. We were done. Goku said, I'm out. Learn how to instant transmission. Well, I mean, he learned after how to instant transmission. I mean, obviously after had to control his Super Saiyan powers. Nah, I don't watch the Pokemon anime. I stopped watching the Pokemon anime, I think, at Ruby Sapphire. I think I watched JOJO back in the day, and then I think after that I was like, yeah, I'm out. I remember I was excited to watch Diamond and Pearl, and I was watching it and I'm like, yeah, this is not it. I don't think I like this that much. So yeah, I just stopped watching, and that was the last time that I even like. I did watch Ash's last match and all that, so I did see him finally win the Pokemon League. I did watch those, but yeah.
Dragon Ball Z was wild growing up. The first Dragon Ball I watched was the Brawly movie with the rock music.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I was shocked.
Yeah, shout outs to Justin. Thank you for the 3. Then also, yo, big love to Switch After Dark with the 30. It's a special day. We got a 7-minute Metroid trailer. Overall looking pretty great. The world looks incredible. It's down to how much these dorks get in the way, but overall looking generational. I don't think they're gonna get in the way that much. If you watch the gameplay, we watched some raw gameplay of it, and the majority of it was Samus just doing whatever. Me personally, I don't mind having a few moments where there's some parts like where you have to like do some certain segment parts with them in there, whatever. But I doubt they're gonna be around all the time. Based on the gameplay that we watched 11 minutes of gameplay. And really, Samus is by herself majority of the time. There are going to be some parts, though, where you go and, like, they're there or whatever. But I don't think it's going to be a big issue or whatever. I think, like I said, a lot of the previews are just acting kind of crazy, to be honest. Because you watch the overview trailer. If you watch the overview trailer, there's a bunch of different environments that Samus is in, Switch, that it's just her. But like I said, I'm not a purist. So I don't mind them adding them in there, because that's not what makes Metroid great. It's not because Samus is by herself. I never felt that was what makes Metroid great. What makes Metroid great was the atmosphere, the environment, the gameplay, the controls, everything. Like even the backtracking at times, the new powers, the abilities, the morph ball, the different beam cannons, the different suits. That's what made Samus incredible, was that. So I'm not a purist though. I'm not a purist at all. So yeah, that's kind of like my opinion. But yeah, I feel you on that one though. And Switch After Dark, full cartridge, baby. Thank you for the big $30 dono, man. That is a lot to donate, man. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. And Justin, thank you for the $3 as well. Yo, Switch After Dark. This is my man Zoo coming through. Make sure you guys, Zoo, link your channel so people can watch your Princess Peach video. It's good. Thank you for the big 30, man. I appreciate that. Combo breaks. And we are... Speaking of Dragon Ball Z, thank you so much for the big 30, bro. Appreciate that. But yeah, as long as they don't get in the way too much, you know. I want to watch the Pokemon series from the beginning. I don't think there's a place that has all the episodes. Sailing the High Seas was no help either. It's not on Analinks. You can't watch it on Analinks or something like that. Okay. X, Y, and Z. I did see a couple episodes of X with my daughter back in the day, but like, yeah, it just doesn't do it for me. I don't know. Like, I do like the original Pokemon anime, and I like JOJO. But yeah, I don't know. It's just... I can watch the original Pokemon anime. I can watch that. I want to be the very best, like no one ever was. I love that. I love that show. I know I'm a boomer, though. You know, boomers, I'm a Gen 1er. But I'm not a Gen 1er to the point to where I say, like, everything else sucks, and Gen 1 and Gen 2 are, like, the greatest ever. I'm not that type of Gen 1er. I'm a Gen 1er into the point where, like, okay, I gravitate towards Gen 1, Gen 2 Pokemon. Like, whenever I play Pokemon games, yeah, when I see a freaking Abra, or when I see a freaking, you know, if I see, like, a Slowpoke, or if I see, like, something, you know, if I see a Gen 1 Pokemon, I, like, gravitate toward, I'm like, oh, cool, you know, like, I want to catch that, I want that first. Or if I see, like, a Gen 4. If I see Gen 1, Gen 2, Gen 3, I'm not as... with, but I still like it. But if I see Gen 4 Pokemon, I see Gen 4 like Infernape, or if I see stuff like that, I love that. I love Chikorita, that's Gen 2. I love, obviously, Voltorb and all the Gen 1 Pokemon. So anything Gen 1, Gen 2, Gen 4, I gravitate a lot towards. But I like the other gens. Like, I like Pokemon Black and White. I like X and Y. I love Greninja. Greninja's dope. He's like one of my favorite... He might be like my favorite Pokemon is Greninja. Oh, Arcanine. Arcanine and Greninja are like my two favorite Pokemon. You know, so I love Gen 5 is not bad at all. I love, you know, Pokemon X and Y. I thought it was great. You know, I'm not as big on Sun and Moon, I'll be honest. Like, I'm not as big as like Aloha versions and stuff, but they're okay. It's not anything bad. You know, Sword and Shield, not as big on Sword and Shield versions, although I do like Galar versions of Pokemon. I think Galar versions look really cool. And then Scarlet and Violet, I think I like Scarlet and Violet. I don't know. I don't remember a lot of the stuff, to be honest, but I like the game. I think the game's good. But yeah, I'm a Gen 1er for the most part. Gen 1 and Gen 2. Also, Saturn along with Psionic powers. Doing influence confirmed. Yes, sir. I'm looking forward to that. Switch after that. I'm really looking forward to checking out that bike, man. I think it adds a little bit of a different layer to the gameplay. Adds something a little bit new. Like I said, I'm not sure if it's going to be like the greatest thing ever, but man, I just want to play the game. And it's coming out very soon, you know? It's coming out very soon, so I'm looking forward to it, man. I'm looking forward to the gameplay. I didn't watch any previews though. I did hear what some of them were saying, but I didn't watch any of their previews and listen to it. All I did was I watched the overview trailer. I watched the 11 minutes of gameplay. That's what I watched. I did hear what some of the previews were saying though. They were complaining about, oh, it has some type of fatal flaw and all. Like I did see. I'm like, okay, I already know what this is about. You know what I'm saying? Like the game's gonna be fine when it comes out. Also, platinum streak. Let's go. Shout outs, man. Fire red, platinum, and black and white back in the day. Bro, I have my 3DS, and I think I put in Pokemon Black and White, and I played it. Dude, those games are somewhat unplayable now. They're so crusty, and they move so slow, and you have to walk in actual, like, up, down, left, or right. There's, like, no actual diagonal. Dude, I couldn't even play it. I'm like, bro, I'm good. Like, where's my 3DS at? I have my 3DS right here. Hold up. So, I have my 3DS right here. Shoutouts to Sidious. Thank you for the 6 months. And like I said, I was playing, not the Pokemon Black and White 2. I have it right here. This cartridge is actually worth quite a bit. But I have Black and White 2. And I was like, okay, let me just play this real quick. Let me just boot it up, see where I left off. Like, I didn't even finish all the way through this game. Like, I was playing it, but I didn't get everything done, at least on this one. I might have, or this one's Pokemon White. I might have Pokemon Black 2. I might have went through that one. This is my second playthrough of it. And like I haven't played this game in like since like 2013 or something. So I was like, oh, let me just boot it up and play it. Dude, it is like after playing Pokemon Legends ZA, it's like almost unplayable. After playing Scarlet and Violet on Switch 2 and Legends ZA, bro, those old games move so clunky and old, and like the PC boxes. No, I'm out, bro. I can't even play those no more. Let's see. I watched the IGN preview and I was like, these people are really complaining about this? Yes, they are. Because once again, Metroid purists, everything has to be quiet. They can't have anything new added in. It's got to be everything the same. But once the full game comes out, I'll be fine. Once again. What's up, OJ? I'm off to a weekend so I can catch up with playing some Switch games. Hey, let's go. Man, that was, bro, I had to cut it off, man. I can't go back to those 3DS games, man. I can't. I played them back in the day, though. They were fun back in the day, but I can't play them now. Now that we have the newer games and movement options. So yeah. I love everything about Metroid Prime 4. I've seen literally can't find one single thing I take issue with, not a single thing. Yeah, like I said, it's going to be different for every person, right? I want to see how it's implemented, like with some of these characters and stuff. But like I said, I don't think it's going to be too overbearing or anything like that. Omega Ruby, Alpha Sapphire are my favorite games in the series. I think that was a peak right there. I don't know about peak, but sure. They weren't bad, that's for sure. They weren't bad. Are Metroid Prime 2 and 3 good? Yes, every single mainline Metroid game is good. Every single Metroid Prime game is good with the exception of Federation Force, but honestly, if you play Federation Force, it's not that bad. Excuse me, it's just people didn't want Federation Force at the time that Federation Force came out. People wanted a console Metroid game. We hadn't had a new Metroid game in, you know, like a new console Metroid game in like 5-6 years. So people were really wanting a new Metroid game. And Federation Force was not what people wanted to see. Like these chibi designs, it looked weird, you know. It was 3DS, it wasn't Wii U or Switch. So people were just really angry. I think the Switch wasn't even revealed at that point. So people were just really angry that it wasn't like a real new console Metroid game for like the Wii U or something. So people really just bash Federation Force. But if you play the game, it's fine. It's not that bad. And like people just trashed it. They just like I trashed it myself, but I played through it. I have it on 3DS. It's not that bad. But obviously it's not as good as, you know, the other Metroid games. It's not as good as like Metroid Prime 1, 2, or 3. It's not even as good as Metroid Prime. It's not as good as Punter. It's not as good as Prime Pinball. It's really not as good as any of them, but it's not bad. DeAndre with the $2.14. What's up, DeAndre? I recently beat Pokemon Y and it feels super clunky compared to the recent games. Yeah, I'll never understand the Pokemon fell off after Gen 5. That is just people, once again, they're not talking about playability, graphics, or gameplay. They're talking about like what they saw. Like what they saw, the Pokemon games were more elaborate than what we're getting now. Usually people that say that it fell off after this, they're upset that the graphics aren't better. That's usually what it is. Almost every time it comes down to the graphics not being as good. Now, for some people, it's not. I'm not going to say for everybody it is, but I'm telling you, if the graphics in Pokemon games were good, none of the complaints would even be here. They can literally be the exact same games, and I guarantee you, people would not be complaining as much about Pokemon. It's literally almost, I would say, solely driven by graphics. That's about it. Honestly, that's about it. And you know how I know this? Digimon. Digimon was the proof that I needed to do this, because Digimon on PlayStation 5 launched with DLC beforehand, an expensive edition of the game, 30 frames per second on console, with frame rate dips, a lot of the issues that people were complaining about and saying, this is the reason why it's this. But because the graphics were good, it literally was okay. The people that I see that are hardcore Pokemon fans that play Digimon did not complain about any of these things, but had no problem mentioning them with Pokemon, with games before, with the frame rate and all that. The graphics masked everything. They masked everything because Digimon has a multitude of issues. If you actually play the game, a multitude of issues that you could equate to whatever. And the same people that I saw ripping into Pokemon Legends and ripping into other games, they had nothing bad to say about Digimon. And it literally runs at 30 FPS with frame rate dips. It is not perfect, with some linear game design and some things that are in the game. That's why the game's rated like 70-something. It's rated like 70-something because there are those issues, and the people that aren't psycho and psychotic rated it appropriately, you know? But if you go online, like what people are saying, everyone just compares it to Pokemon and say, look, it looks so much better. So it is better. So it's fine. They did the same thing with freaking Power World, that slop game of Power. That game's a disaster. I know people like it and that's fine, but that's why it sold so many millions and then people just dropped it. It's only the hardcore that are playing it because it was like, oh, it looks way better than Pokemon. The game was, there's no real NPCs, there's no real talking, there's no real story, the game crashes. There was all sorts of issues with that game. But because the graphics were good, people were elevating Power World into this god tier monster tamer category, and it doesn't deserve it. It's not that good. At least at launch. Now maybe they fixed it since then, but the AI was broken and trash. The gameplay loop was repetitive. After a while, you have to grind for forever. Bro, there's so many things wrong with that game. But people were treating it as if it was freaking heaven, as if it was Jesus was walking right in front of them because the graphics were way better than Scarlet and Violet, and Scarlet and Violet came out. So everything is based off of that. A lot of it is just based off of the graphics and how people online are going to say stuff, because Power World is literally like trash at times. There's some good aspects about it that I do like, but there's some garbage things, and people just decided to just brush that aside because the graphics look way better than Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, you know? So yeah, that's the thing. Switch After Dark with the $10 dono and says, only dealing Samus should have with dorks is walking past them on her way to getting off world. She wrecked the entire species before dropping off the last one and dissected for the energy. That's Samus. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, like, I don't have a problem with how people feel that way. I mean, she does help out the Galactic Federation, even in the lore. If you watch the manga, if you read the manga, there's other times where she is with other people. So, like, it's in there in the lore with Galactic Federation, like that she has missions with them and all of that. But, I mean, I get what you're saying. I get it in terms of how some people feel about it. Because, like, if you look at the original Metroid, Super Metroid, all those games, it's pretty much just her by herself. But, you know, there are some games where it's not, right? There are some games where she's not. So I don't mind them adding in some extra elements of that, but once again, that's me. Yes, it has 30 FPS with some frame drops. Shout outs to Switch After Dark. Thank you for another $10 dono. I appreciate that. Thank you so much, man. Digimon is extremely linear, not that fun. I think the game is fun. I don't think the game is bad, but there are definitely some design things with it. Now, if you look at the user reviews for Digimon, it's high, But once again, I think that they're comparing it. I think the reason why people get gung-ho about these things is because they're comparing it to the lack of effort from Pokemon, not judging it on its own merits. They're saying, oh, well, Pokemon's like this, so therefore this is way better. It's like a compensation, or it's like a compensating for this not being what they want. But once again, I follow many people that are angry with Pokemon, and they literally were playing Digimon. They had none of these complaints about Digimon. Once again, 30 FPS, frame rate drops, linear gameplay in certain aspects and stuff, issues. Now, when you look at actual critical reviews of fans that play Digimon, they'll tell you that. But if you look at the people that are like angry with Pokemon, they're just gonna be, like I said, they'll spaz, they'll just hype up something. And that's what we saw with Digimon, and that's what we saw with Power World. Power World, we saw, like, I saw so many posts of people who don't even like Monster Battler games, but they had something to say. They played Power World for 10 seconds. Nobody even shows their, a lot of these figureheads, or a lot of these content creators that were sitting there and raging, they didn't even play Power World. They had no interest in Power World. They just wanted to sit there to compare to Pokemon. Which is, once again, that's fine if you can do that. I don't have, okay, it is what it is, but I'm going to call that. I'm going to say, wait a minute, you're just saying that just because. Like, you don't even actually like Power, you don't even want to play Power World, you know? Like, I played it. It's not that good, you know? But you have these, like I said, a lot of people that just had something to say because everything's being compared to Pokemon. And I think that's where Digimon, in terms of it, and Power World just got elevated. And who cares about the issues? It's way better than, the graphics are way better. I'm telling you, this would not be a thing if Pokemon was ported to PC and the graphics were better. It can be the exact same game, exact same thing, and you wouldn't have a single person saying that it fell off since Gen 5 or whatever. And if there were, it'd be very, very tiny amount of people. It would not be that many people. It'd be, like I said, they can be the exact same games, exact same games. It can even have some of the frame rate issues that the game have. Some of the games have. You know, looks like the official Pokemon TV YouTube channel has many of the seasons in full. Oh, nice. I'm still not gonna watch that. You think Metroid Prime 4 rates 93 or higher? No, I said it's gonna be high 80s, low 90s. So I said, I guess 93 is low 90s, but I just think that they're not gonna give it above Clair Obscur Expedition 33. I think that there's no way that it scores higher than that, just like they did with Donkey Kong Bonanza. You know, they just don't want, I don't think they're going to give it higher than that. I'm surprised Hades even got a higher score than that, you know. I know there was a few other Hades scores that were coming and trying to lower it. But yeah, I don't see the journalists giving Metroid Prime for like that high of a score. I think it's going to be similar to Metroid Prime 3, where they give it lower, like high 80s, low 90s. Now, Metroid Prime 3 has a 90 on the dot, luckily. Has a 90 on the dot. So I'm guessing it's going to be, it might teeter between like an 80, high 88, 90, somewhere in that range. But yeah, I'm kind of shifting more towards it could be a low 90. Before I was kind of like 80s, but I'm thinking now it's maybe like low 90s or high 80s, you know. 80s, I wouldn't be surprised if it was like an 87 or something like that, like an 87. Like there are some haters right now with that are reviewing Switch. There are some crazy haters right now with Switch 2, fam. Like, you gotta factor that in. Like, you gotta factor in people just hating on Switch 2 just because, right? You gotta factor that in. Almost like the Xbox tax, you know, you gotta factor that in. So that's what I'm factoring in right now, man. Because, like, look at Metroid Dread. Exactly what is the issue with Metroid Dread? Like, how's that game not like a 92, 93, 94? Like, the music? That's the only thing that I can think of. Controls, enemy design, innovation within the series, sound, like abilities, powers, story. Like, exactly why is Metroid Dread under a 90? Like, what is the reasoning for that? Has anybody played a 2D action like shooter game that's as good as Metroid Dread? I mean, I'm pretty sure they're out there. I mean, people say like Silksong or like Hollow Knight's a 90, Silksong's a 90. Like, why is Metroid Dread not a 90 plus again? The only major knock that I can think of is the music's not that great compared to previous Metroid games. But Metroid Dread has VA. The whole what's it called? The whole thing is voice acted between like the computer, whatever. Raven, ooh. The computer, the computer situation is voice acted. It is. It has VA. What are you talking about? I find it sad that some of the Halo lovers hate that the games would come to PS5 and perhaps Switch 2. Don't you want other people to have the opportunity? Well, if you're talking about adding value to having the Xbox as a platform and other people are still doing exclusivity, I can see why they want it to be exclusive. Maybe too much chasing that got repetitive. How? The game's not long. It's no more repetitive than any other game, than any other Metroid game. I remember David Jaffe getting mad at Metroid Dread because he got stuck in an early room and blamed the game and not lack of attention. Yeah, the David Jaffe thing was funny because I think Nintendo of America actually put out like a, hey, like, they like put out a little tweet kind of referencing that without actually saying his name, which was hilarious. But yeah, like I saw a video of other like content creators, like somebody put together a clip of content creators playing that same part that Jaffe got stuck on, and they all were able to find it no problem, but Jaffe wasn't. But the thing about it was that like there's enemies that are flying above there, so all like the first thing that you do is shoot that area. I mean that's pretty much what anybody would do in a Metroid game. Is like you just shoot everything, you shoot every wall, you bomb every wall, like that's just how Metroid games are, you know. Weak story. The story was not weak. That's insane. Have you beat the game, Sellout? The story was not weak. And in the reviews, they said that the story is great. The story was fantastic. That might be the best story of any 2D Metroid game. Legit, the story was incredible. The ending sequence was absolutely wild. No, that's not it either. Did you play? Did you beat the game? Let's see here. It's because Metroid Dread is 2D and cost $60. Silksong was $20. That could be it too. I think that could be it as well. Maybe they felt the price was too high, but I don't think the game should be rated lower because the price was a standard price of a game. Like that's silly to me, you know. Especially since a lot of them got that for free. Like they literally got the game for free. So yeah. Metroid Dread under 90 is a crime. It's not even like it's an 89. It's an 88. It's an 88. Let me double check. Maybe there's other reviews that came in. So that's why I'm not going. I can't fully commit to a 90. You know. Yeah, it's an 88. Like I can't fully commit to a 90. Because there are some mixed scores. Like if you go all the way down, I mean, you see a lot of great scores, man. You see like a ton of 9s. I mean, there are so many 9 out of 10s and 10 out of 10s. So it's not like people didn't give it that type of respect. Once again, getting an 88, you've got to have a lot of high scores. To even get an 88 score, you need legitimately, you need a lot of 10s and 9s to get an 88 score. You know, there's a lot of 8 out of 10s. But then there's also, it's like, here's the reason why it got a 88. Because these two stupid sites, that's the reason why. It was 2 sites that caused it. There we go. Most of the scores were 7 and up. Obviously, there's not that many 7s. There's only a few 7s. So there's only, I counted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's only 8 7s. That's not that bad. But here's what's bad. Here's what actually got the game to not have a 90. The Guardian and We Got This Covered. We Got This Covered moronic website that gave it a 5 out of 10. Which is just like legitimately straight up just Nintendo hater. There is no possible way that Metroid Dread, I don't care what it is, and I say this with any game coming out. I say this with Horizon, or I say this with Halo, or I say this with any game from any system that where there's a certain level of quality and polish that you can easily see on the screen, and there are no major bugs or issues or brokenness with the game. That is not a 5 out of 10 game. If you play video games, there is no way in hell that Metroid Dread is a 5 out of 10. That is insane. Same thing with Halo, same thing with Horizon, same thing with God of War. No. Now, if you don't like it, you don't like it. But there's no way that it's a 5 out of 10. That's just not logical. That is not logical. I personally do not like Horizon anymore. Horizon series, I do not like it. I played it, I don't like it, but I am not, if I played it and reviewed it professionally, it is not gonna get a 5 out of 10. It is not a 5 out of 10. That's insane. Minimum. If I don't like it, it's like, okay, well, maybe it's a 7, you know? Maybe it's a 7, because I don't like certain story pieces, but the game is fundamentally sound. It works. It's not broken. It's got everything intact. That's like a 7. Maybe a 6 if I'm feeling really angry about things, but a 5? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. So anyway, we got this covered. They gave it a 5 out of 10 and said Metroid Dread can't commit to giving players an action-packed power fantasy or a suspenseful adventure against odds. It's quick, short, and snappy. All things can be good when used right, but not all what Metroid Dread sets out to deliver. This person doesn't even know what they're talking about. Metroid Dread can't commit to giving players an action-packed power fantasy. What does that even mean? An action-packed power fantasy? In Metroid Dread, you're literally doing that. You're slaying monsters, you're getting new abilities. I think they're talking about the Emmy parts, but in every single time with the Emmy parts, you end up blasting the Emmys to smithereens and absorbing them. What are you talking about? What is this? See what I'm saying with some of these? Like, what are you talking about? Yeah, you do. And then if you beat the game, you 1000% get a power fantasy. Oh my goodness, you get the highest power fantasy ever in the history of the power fantasies for a Metroid game if you beat the game. What is this person talking about? By the time that you're done with Metroid Dread, you're freaking super powerful. You got all these suits, you got all these missiles and different abilities. You can disappear, you can shoot spreader missiles at people. It's crazy how powerful you are. They don't know what they're talking about. You see what I'm saying? And I say the same, once again, nobody's gonna fanboy or show me anything, because I said the same thing when it comes to God of War, or same thing when it comes to Halo or certain other. It's like, no, it's not a 5 out of 10. That's insane. Minimum 7. Minimum. Guardian also, this is what got it. It was really this we got this covered review. That's really what it was. If it wasn't for these two buffoonish type reviews, then it would have had a 90 Metacritic. So I'm expecting there to be a couple buffoonish type reviews, especially with this game. Oh, there's people talking. Ah! They can't commit to giving me an isolated depression game that I want. 5 out of 10. Everything else plays good though. Like that's exactly what they're gonna do. That's exactly what they're gonna do. The Guardian also gave it a 6 out of 10. These are the two stupid reviews. Perhaps I'm asking too much. We don't pry for depth from Mario as he rescues his princess, or ask what motivates Tom Nook in his real estate empire. What this guy is. I like pretty much all of Nintendo's games, but there are long legacies and perfect jumps. This feels good to play. And that should be enough. But I don't come to a Nintendo title for enough. I left Dread feeling that perhaps the real legacy of 2D Metroid will be the games it inspires rather than the games themselves. Like, what is this guy talking about? Guy's a complete moron, dude. Like, this is a moronic. Like, I don't come to. We don't pry too much. Well, rescue Princess Peach. Metroid and Mario. What do those have to do with each other? Metroid has always been a more intricate, more delicate, more power up, advanced backtracking than Animal Crossing and Mario. What is he talking about? Like, what is he talking about? Ridiculous, bro. Some of these people, bro, I'm telling you, man, some of these people. Some of these people. Switch After Dark with the $5 says, yeah, Jim Stephanie Sterling will review the game at some point. They ensure Nintendo games are underscored. That's why I don't take Metacritic seriously. Yeah. Like, you gotta kind of just look at it and use it as like a reference. You don't got to use it as the be all end all, which I always tell you guys. Whenever I do like my review roundups for Metroid, it's always like I use it as a reference. I don't use it as like a, you know, I don't use it as like it's a be all end all. Like this is what this game's better than this game because it has a better Metacritic. I don't do that, you know. I don't do that, but yeah, I can like a lot of people don't even trust it because of stuff like this. But once again, you got a couple bad apples, they ruin the whole lot. You know what I'm saying? They ruin everything. So you got a couple bozos, but yeah. I want the same game to be made in the masses don't support, then worry about they think Metroid will die as a franchise lack of support. Back in the day, IGN Symphony of the Night had a bad score at first. They said it looked retro and wasn't 3D. That's why Sony didn't want 2D games on the that's why Sony didn't want 2D games on the PS1 because of that. Because reviewers were acting crazy if there was a 2D game. Castlevania, is it Symphony? Let's find the old version of Symphony. Is the original Symphony of the Night on there? Is the old Symphony of the Night actually on here though? Let me see. Let's see if the old Symphony of the Night is. I don't think the old Symphony of the Night is on here. I don't know if it goes that far back. Yeah, I don't think it does. I mean, it might. Let me check. Yeah, I don't think the old Symphony of the Night is not on here. Just the 2007 Symphony of the Night from the Xbox 360, that's rated really good. And like the although the Castlevania Requiem Symphony of the Night Rondo of Blood, that one's rated not great for some reason. I don't know if they messed that one up. Someone told me that one of the guys who helped Halo is working on Metroid Prime 4. Not sure if that's true, but wouldn't be surprised. I mean, they've got a lot of people who worked on a variety of different games. They got people who worked on Uncharted. They got people who worked on like Call of Duty. They've got people who worked on lots of stuff. When Nintendo was hiring for Metroid Prime 4, a lot of people who obviously grew up liking and playing Metroid Prime games took the opportunity to jump to try to get in with Nintendo, right? You got job security over there. So a lot of the like, top talent from like certain places were like, I'm out. Like they saw that job, they saw those job openings and they were like, get me out of here. They left as fast as they could because you got more job security with Nintendo than you do with a lot of other places, you know? So yeah, they did hire some pretty solid talent from other places. But once again, those people willingly wanted to go to retro studios. And like a lot of those guys grew up probably playing Metroid Prime, you know, and all that. So yeah. Justin with another 3.
I could care less about Metacritic. I already know the max Air Riders will get is 82, but more likely in 77.
Probably 70s, yeah.
I already played the demo for 10 hours, so I know I'm going to love it.
Yeah, like it's I can see Air Riders getting like a mid 70s, maybe even low 70s because it's a different type of game. So yeah, absolutely. I can see that. I can see that for sure. Thank you for the dono. I appreciate that. Combo break set, of course. Going further than beyond, baby. Let's go. Thank you for the support, guys. Hit that like button. If you have not hit that like button, hit that like button. Let them know that we are streaming out here. Let's go. I'm glad that I started up early so I can get my full time in before I have to go. We still got good enough time left on the stream. So make sure you guys ask your questions. If you have questions, comments, whatever the case is, let me know in the chat. All right, guys, let me know. Also, check out my video, too. If you haven't seen my video on Metroid Prime 4, non-spoiler, of course. I talked about it there, so you guys can watch that, too, later. Honestly, Halo 4 had great visuals for 360, and as much as I didn't like the art direction, Prime 4's environments kind of remind me of that. Far more fitting. I did see people talk about that on Twitter, Mr. Foxon. I mean, I didn't play too much of Halo 4. I did play it, but I didn't play too much of Halo 4. So yeah. Metroid Dread 9 times. Love that game. Metroid Dread is incredible. It doesn't deserve anything lower than a 7 out of 10. And I think even that's too low. Like, I think even 7 out of 10 is too low. I think Lowest should be, like I said, maybe I'm biased, maybe it's on whatever, but lowest should be 7.5. Lowest it should be is 7.5. That's the lowest. That game's way too good. That game's way too good from a gameplay mechanics, you know, graphical gameplay mechanics, upgrades, boss battles. It's just all flows. Like, it just all flows, man. It actually makes it to where you feel like you're in danger. Like, Samus is not a all-powerful, she can never be hurt, she can never be like killed. Like, she's not that. Like, there is danger. Like, I get it. Some people want that. They think Samus is some type of unstoppable warrior that can never be hurt. Like, literally, she almost died like numerous times. She's been cooked before. Samus has gotten cooked before. It's not like she's invincible. Okay, so that's I think that's the problem that some people have. They think that Samus is some type of invincible power soldier that can never be hurt at all. Like, that's not true. Like, she can, if you read the manga, she's been cooked a number of times. There are other beings out there that can match her, you know, in power and sometimes and stuff. Yeah, she's the strongest, but it's not like she's invincible. That's why you got to collect all the energy tanks, because if you don't, she gets cooked. That was a funny part, the ability to jump. Like, Kratos, he's definitely salty. He's definitely worried. Now that Nintendo has given you the ability to jump, Kratos is on notice. You're up next, Kratos. Next God of War, you're getting a jump button, but baby. Yeah, I mean, Metroid Prime Corruption. You look at Metroid Fusion. What happened there? She like almost died there and all that. So it's like, it's crazy, man. That's how Prime 4 looks on Switch 2. It's just a port of a Switch game. Yeah, it looks pretty good. it looks pretty good. They did a good job. Art direction there, like, you can still tell that it's a Switch 1 game in some areas, especially like the grass area, but it's still really good. You know, it's still very solid, you know, overall. So yeah, I thought it was good. New movie poster reveal for the Galaxy movie. New movie poster reveal. I don't need to see anything else when it comes to the Mario movie or anything like that. I'm done. I'll go watch it when I watch it, but I'm not really gonna be keeping up with all like the leaks and movie posters and things like that. But yeah, for those who want to see it, it's out there. But yeah, I'm good, man. I'm just ready. I saw the freaking trailer. It was hilarious, man. That beginning part with Bowser. That was, oh my gosh, working on his demons, man. Working on his demons. So Sparking Zero came out on Switch. Good for Sparking Zero. So literally had to run away from the bad guys on Dread. That was the main theme. I know what I'm saying is that, like, some people were upset, but the thing about it is that that's not even the first time that Samus has had to run away from someone. These people that are talking about this, they never played Metroid Fusion. Metroid Fusion, you have that SAX Samus that literally you can't beat. You've got to run away from them. It's like that thing will just cook you. You're not powerful enough to beat it. So if you see that thing coming, you've got to go, you know? So it's not even like it's the first time that they've even done that gameplay gimmick. And it was fine in Metroid Fusion. People had issues with other things with Metroid Fusion, like the hand-holding and how easy it was and the constant barrage of text, like when you want to go somewhere. But like for playing on the go, it was kind of convenient. You never really got lost. And it was still fun. It was still a fun game. But yeah, that's not even the first time that she's even been like that. And I think, like I said, you got a lot of tourists who don't even really like Metroid, who just decided they got a review copy. They maybe played Super Metroid on the Wii Virtual Console or something like that. You got a lot of tourists that have no idea, and like they decided to play the game. You know, they got a review copy or whatever, and their website made them review the game, and they didn't really want to. And they just said, hey, look, this game sucks. And not even a lot of people. It was just two people. It was just two bad reviews. So yeah. Let's see here. It was scary running away from the other Metro. Oh yeah, it really was. Samus had some battles, but none has figured out the mystery yet. Fusion was all about that. It was scary when I played as a kid. Yeah, it was kind of scary at times. I mean, I wasn't a kid when I played it. I was an adult, but still, it was still kind of creepy for sure. Oh, there's a manga. There's more than a manga. There's an exclusive Japanese story segment thing that's like a whole different. Oh man, you want to really explore the old lore of Metroid? Feel free to do it. There is a channel I highly recommend it. I recommended this guy before, but I'll recommend him again because he is incredible. Give me 1 second here, guys. I like the thumbnail that I did. It's really eye-catching. Today's thumbnail, I like it. It looks clean. Sorry. Admiring my own, I'm stroking my own ego here with my thumbnail. I thought it looked pretty good. I like the little blue outline that I did today. I did switch it up right before the stream. The little blue outline with the, you know, with the text, and then of course there on there, remove the live so you can see the picture more clearly. Both looks kind of nice. Anyway, GTV Japan. This guy is great. This guy is really great. I mean, this guy is probably one of my favorite YouTubers. He's not on social media. He's not, you know, he's not doing all sorts of stuff. He ain't talking all day. He ain't live streaming. He's a white dude that lives in Japan, but he's fully fluent. I think he has a, you know, Japanese wife and all that and family. But he's old school like me. He's old. He's actually, I think he's older than me. But he's old school. You know, he was around back in the day, and he covers all of like the classic games and stuff like that. And like he covers Metroid, like, so he's a really good Metroid guy. So if you want to see some of the old stuff about Metroid and what happened right here, Metroid manga adventures, Samus Aran's first quest. Check out this video. I watched this video from him on my TV out in the living room. This was fantastic. There's a bunch of stuff that you never even knew. So this video right here, Metroid manga adventures. And check this out, man. Like, he's got all sorts of stuff about Kid Icarus and old school games. Like, he does documentaries. They're professional looking documentaries. So like weird trivia and secrets about games. Even like the whole Justin Bailey thing. Is that like a real person? Like the code Justin Bailey, right? Like even that, like just all sorts of stuff, man, that like you wouldn't, if you like Nintendo, or if you like Sega, Nintendo, old school, he was all about that. He did a what's it called? He did a documentary on Super Mario World 2 Yoshi's Island. This one right here. Oh, it's so good. The last great 16-bit game ever made. This Yoshi's Story, I love this game though, so that's why I liked it a lot. But this documentary is phenomenal. He goes over the developers. Like, I'll give you guys just a little bit of a, just so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. This guy's stuff is incredible. Like I said, go watch the video. But man, it's so good. Like the quality's so good.
Yoshi's Island, a long overdue sequel, or the start of a whole new series? Maybe it's a little bit of both. However you look at it, one thing remains true. Yoshi's Island is one of the most advanced Super NES games out there, and stands as the last great 16-bit game ever made. Stay here for the whole story.
He don't worry about views or nothing. He just puts out his vids, you know?
On August 5th, 1995, Super Mario Yoshi Island debuted in Japan for the Super Famicom, followed by a worldwide release in October, where it was known as Super Mario World 2 Yoshi's Island. It had been about 5 years since fans at home had seen an all-new, full-sized Mario game. There hadn't been one since the original Super Mario World arrived on the very first day of the Super Famicom, November 21st, 1990. For the rest of the world, the game came included with every Super NES from 1991 to 1993, and in some sets afterwards. For nearly everyone, 16-bit Nintendo began with Mario. At the time, the game was a huge leap forward in graphics, sound, and gameplay mechanics. Mario could fly, spin jump, and ride Yoshi, Mario's new dinosaur buddy. Weighing in at 4 megabits with a battery for saving your progress, Super Mario World was, for 1990, an amazing experience that earned every accolade it was given. However, time moves quickly in the world of gaming. By the time Super Mario World arrived in the US in 1991, Nintendo found itself under assault by competition from Sega. Their new character, Sonic the Hedgehog, debuted on the Genesis a few months before the Super NES, which also came with a $50 price cut.
See like how this is what he does so good, what I like. A lot of documentaries, they don't go over like the cultural aspect of it. They just go over, okay, this is the game, this is what the game was, this is what the game did, blah blah blah. He goes over what was the time, what was it like back then? Oh, here's what Sega was doing. They were doing this. You know, I've seen documentaries on this game before, and they don't mention these other aspects, these other little things that if you grew up back then, or if you didn't grow up back then, these are the things, these are the console wars that people play on Twitter. This is the stuff that he's talking about. He includes it in where other people just don't do that. They'll just talk about the game and only the game, but they won't talk about the culture around it. Not only does he talk about the game, but he talks about the sales of the game too. He goes over that and what happened with the sales, and he covers the whole aspects, which I love that. But this guy is probably the top documentary guy when it comes to Nintendo content, because he goes over everything, and it sparks that if you weren't around back then, you're like, okay, I can get into my mindset. I can get into the mindset of what people were thinking back then. And if you were, you remember these commercials. You remember what people were saying. Oh man, Sonic is coming. Sonic's here. Like, and he does a great job of adding that into the documentaries, where a lot of documentaries will leave this type of stuff out. He doesn't do that. He puts it in there. He talks about everything once again, but he only talks about sales when it's pertinent to what he's discussing. He goes over the success of it. He doesn't say it as like, oh, it's a thing to brag about. Heck, even like I do sometimes. He goes over it as, okay, well, here's how it did at the time. And he looks up the Japanese and like, hey, here's how it did in like the Famitsu sales. Like he does it relevant to the actual story within, like what he's trying to talk about. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not just sales just for sales. So yeah.
Sega struck again the next year with Sonic 2, more price cuts, and aggressive advertising. As the Super NES library began to come into its own, Nintendo found itself fighting back in second place. In 1993, the Big N gave the original set of 8-bit Mario games a 16-bit makeover with Super Mario All-Stars. This, along with Mario World, was given away to new Super NES owners, who by the end of 1993 were only paying $99.
I got this back in the day. I did get this back, like the one with the Super Mario All-Stars. I think it's like send in something, or I forgot, but yeah. I remember my dad did it for me. I remember when we got it, it was great. Yeah, see, in-store coupon or call, you've got to like send it in. I forgot what you have to do, but I did this back in the day, and I remember all of this stuff overall in terms of like Nintendo and Sega going like literally going boom, going blow for blow, trying to get people's attention on what to buy. I mean, it was a bloodbath in the US. Sega didn't do as well in Japan, like the Sega Genesis, but in the US, man, it was neck and neck. You would see, like, if you had like 10 kids out there, like 5 of them would have like a Sega Genesis, or 6 would have a Sega Genesis, 4 would have a Super Nintendo. It was pretty even, depending on like what, like 10 people you would talk about, or who people thought like what was better. So yeah, it was great. It was great in that respect, you know. Yeah, this was well over 30 years ago. This was well over 30 years ago. Oh my God, those times almost feel like, I feel a little bit nostalgic for those times, but like, it almost feels like I'm a dinosaur, you know, like when it comes to those things, because I do remember them, but man, it was so long ago. Like, it was just so long, and I don't ever see myself, you know, I don't see myself ever, I mean, obviously you can't time travel back then, but like, it almost feels like a whole different life. Like, it feels like a whole different, you know, dimension. It doesn't feel like it was actually here, you know? Like, it doesn't even feel that way. It feels like it was like a whole different dimension, man.
For the system. The Super NES also saw a performance boost that year with the Super FX chip. The first game that featured this enhancement, Star Fox, offered a window into the future of what games would someday become. The game also solidified Nintendo's stance on the future of the Super NES, with upgraded cartridges, as opposed to Sega, who offered a CD-ROM attachment as a new way to play instead.
That was the beginning of the downfall for Sega. Nintendo did a better thing. They said, hey, look, you don't gotta buy something else to get better graphics. we can simply build it into the cartridge. Now, yeah, those cartridges were expensive, so you had to either wait or rent them. But that was for me back then, for me and my brother, back then, and for like my dad and my mom, for like, you know, these games were expensive. Like, yeah, my mom and my dad, they're like, yeah, we're not buying you a Sega Genesis plus a Sega extension CD thingy. Like, no, you're not buying that. Like, I wanted it, but they're like, no, you're gonna play Super Nintendo. We're gonna rent games at the Video City, at the, you know, Blockbuster or whatever. We're gonna rent games, and you're gonna play, or we're gonna find them at yard sale or find them super cheap, and you're gonna get them. We're not buying a whole nother system. And yes, that's what people said back then. I know it sounds kind of weird, you know, oh, people buy new systems all the time, but back then, no. You're gonna buy one system, you're gonna stick with that system, and I'm not buying you a bunch of things and little add-ons and everything. That was the beginning of the end for Sega, when they decided to build a whole, like, the attachments and all. That's where it started, because I was like, I wanted one, but my parents weren't gonna buy me one, you know? So yeah.
In 1994, Nintendo caught up with Sega in both sales numbers and image. The company shed its previous squeaky clean stance on games, holding back on censorship and embracing the ESRB rating system. A new ad campaign, Play It Loud, reached out to older demographics for the first time, showing that Nintendo had just as much attitude as Sega. For longtime observers of the console war, witnessing this turnaround was a shock, to say the least. But the biggest surprise was saved for Donkey Kong Country, released on November 21st, 1994.
Oh, this was so good.
Graphics that were never thought possible in a 16-bit game. This was the kind of game that was expected on Project Reality, the code name used for the Nintendo 64.
This was so good.
Project Reality had been on track for a release in 1995, only to find itself, in typical Nintendo fashion.
Remember, this is a documentary on Super Mario World 2 Yoshi. Look at how in-depth he goes, talking about, hey, this is what people were thinking at the time. People were thinking, look at this game, Donkey Kong. It's all relevant to, of course, Super Mario World 2, Yoshi's Island, and what the mindset people were in back then. A lot of people weren't alive back then, right? So that's what I love about this guy's documentaries, is that it really goes over everything. And yeah, I remember thinking about I remember hearing about Project Reality, like, you know, rumors, but it was like schoolyard stuff. It was like, my uncle works at Nintendo, right? Like, so it was like legitimately my uncle works at Nintendo type of stuff, right? Oh, I remember my friend was like, yo man, there's this new system coming out from Nintendo, and it's gonna have graphics that look like completely realistic. Like, it's gonna look like me and you. Like, we're gonna be inside the game, and it's gonna look so realistic, and people are gonna move in all these different type of ways, and it's gonna be like this and this and this. I'm like, okay. And I'm like, well, I'm playing like Chrono Trigger. Like, I'm like, okay. I remember I used to say, like, so it's gonna look like Star Fox, where everything looks like remember Star Fox? Like, Star Fox, you can like go into the screen. It's like sharp polygons. Right? I didn't say polygons. It's like sharp thingies that aren't like the other thingies that we see on 2D games. He's like, yeah, that, but like way better. Which I think he was kind of right, because like Star Fox 64, but still, it was just funny how like people would talk about it, you know? It was just hilarious how people would talk about it, man.
Delayed to an unknown date in the future. Everything in this chain of events had a direct effect on the game that eventually became Yoshi's Island.
It all makes sense. It all ties back. And then here's another thing that I love that he does. In between his segments, he adds in the actual commercials that played during that time. That just hits you with a nostalgia rush if you were there back then. But if you weren't, you're like, okay, well, what were the commercials like for these old school games? This is one of the best parts of his videos, is that he does it like 2 or 3 times, almost like a commercial in a TV show, which is phenomenal.
スーパーファミコンがテレビゲームのグラフィックに今新たな命を吹き込んだ。絵のぬくもりが新しい、大きな動きが楽しい。コンピュータグラフィックスドローイングが生み出したスーパーマリオの最新作ヨッシーアイランド。今度のマリオは赤ちゃんだ。
The sprites hold up, yeah. The sprite. Anyway, if you guys want to watch the full thing, you guys can check out his channel. His name is GTV Japan. GTV Japan. Check out his channel. It's awesome. So check it out. if you haven't seen it yet. I'm gonna put the link in the comment section. Shout outs to him. You know, one of these days I want to reach out to him and see if we can talk on stream, because I've talked so many good things about him. Oh yeah, here's the thing right here. This guy's 437,000 views. The story of Super Mario All-Stars Special Edition. Yeah, so he has a whole documentary and retrospective about Super Mario All-Stars, like how it came to be and all of that. So yeah, check that out too. But he should have way more subs. I wish these people that enjoyed his content, that are watching 100,000, 200,000, 300, I wish these people actually like subscribe to the channel too. Like show this guy some love, you know? Like the fact that he's putting together non-clickbait, non-grifter content that takes time to put out. People should be subscribing to the channel more. I wish more people subscribe to this instead of grifters, you know? But anyway, yeah, that's that. Let's see here. Hey, what's up, Rajiv? Welcome to the stream, brother. Good to see you here. Good to see you here. Welcome. Remember when FF7 dropped and thinking it would be incredible if the gameplay graphics would get as good as the videos did? Oh yeah, yeah. I finished the video game, The GOAT. I finished the video game is also really good. He kind of focuses on like classic games. Sometimes they're more modern, sometimes they're more classic. He's also very good as well. GTV Japan, he focuses more on like Nintendo and like old Sega. Like Nintendo and old Sega. Like that's like most of his videos are based off of Sega and Nintendo from like back in the day. I was only 2 years old when Super Mario All-Stars came out. What a classic that was. Oh yeah, it was great. Rare are the legends. They used the same Silicon graphics workstations that they used to render the dinos in JP. They spent most of their money on 3, not knowing if it would work, and lo and behold, yeah. Yeah, it was pretty crazy. Pretty crazy. I do like I finished the video game though. He's like one of my favorite content creators by far. One of the best YouTube channels, easily one of the best YouTube channels. Which yeah, we follow each other on Twitter. Like he's cool. I dropped by his stream, donated, all that good stuff. So yeah, he's pretty good. I'd say in terms of like modern content creators, definitely one of the best. Also, Never Knows Best is also pretty good. And Majular, they're all really good. Like all those documentary guys are pretty good. Yeah, he did do a 6-hour Metroid retrospective, which, you know, I think that he's probably thinking he probably shouldn't have done that now looking back. Because people did not give enough love on that video that he did, and it took, and I think he almost broke himself doing that retrospective. I do worry about his health sometimes, but no, it was good. It was definitely good. No soft topic, but I really love Legends Arceus, Lumiose City Night theme. So jazzy. Oh yeah, it's great. I love it. So yeah, do you think you would make a documentary video like that? You know what? I've tried, and I'm actually really bad at it. So no. I got inspired. I'm like, okay, well maybe I'll make one. And I tried to script and write, and I'm not a good enough writer. I don't like capturing footage, never on end. I don't want to hire someone to do that type of work. But I did try to put together something for Astral Chain, and I quit because I'm not good at it. So I decided to not do it. But yeah, I tried, and it's just not. I don't like sitting down for hours capturing footage. I don't like writing. I don't like scripting. I'm not a good writer. I'm more spontaneous. I'm more just about, you know, obviously live reactions, you know, analysis, regular news videos, discussion pieces, like stuff. I can do like, you know, Buy Now and Before, where I can put together like top 10 lists. I think I'm good at those, but I'm not very good at, I think it's a skill. Like, I think it's like an actual like skill. Like, I don't think anybody can just become a retrospective YouTuber. Like, you need to actually like be good at it. Like, you need to like build it, or you need to be born with it. There are certain people that are born with a heightened level of like, I would say writing skill than others. And I don't think that you can just get that. Now, maybe if I practiced and if I studied, but like, I don't want to practice or study. Like, I think that writing comes more natural to these guys, or they might even do it like IRL. Like I know some of these guys were actually even writers, you know, or like they did a lot of writing at their job, or they were like English professors, or they were, you know, whatever, right? So a lot of these guys that do retrospectives are actually good writers, or they were like been good writers. I've been good at English. I know English very well, but I've never been a good writer, if that makes sense. You know, I've never been good at scripting and all that. I've done scripted videos. You can watch them. I did a little mini retrospective on the Wii U, but I mean, I don't think my retrospective on the Wii U was anywhere near as good as anybody else's retrospective, like, or these guys that I talk about, you know? But I've done some stuff like that. Check out my Wii U retrospective. It's all scripted. I all wrote it out. I've done other stuff, but yeah, I'm just not as good as these guys, so yeah. Yeah, you're right, OJ. I feel you. Maybe something I could write for essays like that. You can get, yeah, I mean, I could get better if I took the time to actually start writing and start like evaluating. Like, I can definitely get better at it, but like, I mean, these guys put out like a few videos per year. Like some of these guys, I mean, like the GTTV, I think he puts out like somewhere between maybe 10, 11 videos per year. I Finished the Video Game puts out maybe 3 videos per year tops. I mean, he does do live streams and other things, but like it takes it takes months to get these types of videos done. Maybe not GTTV's because he does singular games, but like somebody like I Finished the Video Game, like where he does like a whole retrospective on like a whole, you know, franchise. Like, yeah, I'm not doing all that. Like, I don't have time for that, you know? Let's see. You do need to do a Switch 1 retrospective soon, since there's no new first-party games. Once there's no new first-party games. Yeah, I'll do like my thoughts overall, but I don't think it'll be like a retrospective. I think it'll just be like it'll be like a retrospective, but it won't be like that quality of retrospective. But yeah, I did do that with the Wii U. I did that. I don't know if I did that with the 3DS. I think I kinda, but not really. I did a top 25 3DS games, which did really well on the channel. I did a top 10 Wii U stuff too, so maybe I'll do that like with Switch. I did a top 10 Switch games, like my final list for Switch 1. So I already did that, which that came out a little bit ago. If you haven't seen that video, check it out. It's pretty good. Top 10 best Nintendo Switch games. If you haven't seen that video, I literally go over like my top 10 best, like my final list. Any games that come out now that I play on Switch 2, those aren't counted as Switch 1 games. So Pokemon Legends ZA, you know, Metroid Prime 4, those are not Switch 1 games. And the games that come out like Tomodachi Life and Rhythm Heaven, yeah, those, no, whatever, those don't count. I'm not counting those at this point. So I did a final list, and there's not, I mean, those games aren't going to make my top 10 anyway. So, so yeah. I really wish I didn't trade in my 3DS. You got to buy it back, baby. Really wish you didn't trade in one of these. Yeah. Oh, man, it's kind of ghetto, though. I'll be honest, the 3DS is kind of ghetto. Like, man, it takes forever to load things, too. Like, loading and, like... Oh, but it's all good, though. It's still a good system. I found a new channel called This Week in Gaming. They post home videos, news, footage from 70s, 2000s, still nostalgic, amazing historical preservation. Oh, nice. Nice. I can't find that 6-hour GTV Japan video. 6-hour GTV Japan. Wait, no, that's not GTV Japan. That's I Finished the Video Game. You're talking about Metroid? That's I Finished the Video Game. He did the 6-hour Metroid retrospective. That wasn't GTV Japan. So yeah, just look up Metroid retrospective, I Finished the Video Game, and then it'll pop right up. The 3DS market. Oh, the 3DS market is the Wild West, the high seas. Yeah, this is the official name for this is a new Nintendo 3DS XL Majora's Mask Special Edition, or Majora's Mask Edition. This is a new Nintendo 3DS XL Majora's Mask Edition. So yeah, but it's old. I mean, I bought it 10 years ago. I bought it. Yeah, I think I bought it. It came out in like 2015. So yeah, it's 10 years old, but it works like it's brand new. It literally works. It works so fast. It's still good. It does take a little bit of time to turn on, but not too bad. So it takes a little bit of time. There you go, and it's on. So Still have all my stuff. Still can go re-download all my games, all my purchases that I had, all my demos. Metroid Prime Blast Ball. I see Metroid. Oh, hold up. No, I went to the instruction manual. Home menu. Metroid Prime Blast Ball. There's a software update for Metroid Prime Blast Ball. Let's see if I can actually download that software update. Download now. Sure to continue. Let's see if they still have that update for it, even though the eShop is down. I'm gonna see if I can download the Metroid Prime Blast Ball. It's a demo though, it's not even the full game. But the full game is in Metroid Prime Federation Force, so I have the full game. No, I didn't mod this one, no modding. Maybe one of these days I will though. I just don't play 3DS enough to mod it. Like, I don't care enough to mod it. Cause like, I'm not gonna sit there and play a bunch of 3DS games all day. Like, I already put a bazillion hours into the 3DS. I don't have any desire to go back to be playing 3DS games. They're ghetto, they're 240p. So a lot of them are a lot of them I just don't, and like my hands cramp. My hands are even too big for this. I mean, as you can see, like I have to contort to even play it. My hands are just too big. I don't know why I have such big hands, considering I'm not like super tall, but I have the hands of somebody who's like 6 foot something. But my hands are just too big for this too. They also cramp. This D-pad is way too small. This thumb thingy is just, it's not like a real thumbstick. It's like, this nub is too nubby. Like, it's actually updating. Nintendo, the servers shut down. The servers did not shut down, baby. They're still around. The 3DS is still around, baby. It's still around. You know? I'm updating Metroid. I haven't touched this demo like literally in 10 years. I'm updating Metroid Prime or Metroid Prime Blast Ball. The servers are still around. The stores might be shut down, but do not worry, guys. These servers stay around. Xenoblade Chronicles 1 looks pretty cool in 3D. That I might play. Dude, Xenoblade, dude, the 3DS version of that game is incredibly crusty. It is the crustiest version of that game. I can't, because like the text is so small and like the characters are so tiny. That is like the worst version of Xenoblade Chronicles. I'm sorry. I tried to play the new Nintendo 3DS version, and yeah, I played it, but I was just like, oh my gosh, this is really crusty, man. Oh gosh. Yeah, my fingers actually cover the whole D-pad. Yeah, my finger covers the whole D-pad easily. Like, I've got to really contort. Alright, so Metroid Prime Blast Ball is completely updated and ready to go. So yeah. My hands are just too big. They're just too big for 3DS. I mean, the buttons are okay. But alright, I'm gonna practice some Blast Ball. This is we got Metroid Prime Blast Ball. We don't got direct capture, baby. We gotta do this. Alright. Here we go. Metroid Prime Blast Ball. No direct capture. Alright, there we go. Use your mech to move. Alright. L walks on. Hold L walks onto the ball. It's like what's it called? It's like what's that thing? It's like what was I about to say? Rocket League. It's like Rocket League. Anyway, I'm done playing that. My fingers started hurting when I started having to hold the L, because it has these little micro buttons at the top. These buttons are tiny, so you got to be careful. I think they added these ones in. These weren't in the original DS, but they added like the ZR and all that. I much like a bigger D-pad controller where my hands can actually fit comfortably. Or at least the Switch, even like with the Switch 1 and Switch 2, those are a little bit better. Well, Switch 1 doesn't even have a D-pad, but yeah, like when you use the Switch 1 Pro controller, Switch 2 Pro controller. How my hands with the Game Boy Micro? The Game Boy Micro literally fits like in my whole palm. I legitimately can't play the Game Boy Micro. It is too small for my hands. Like, it's like literally, I feel like I'm like the Incredible Hulk. It's way too small. Like, I looked at it and I'm like, yeah, who's this for? Like a baby? Like a little, like, how can you even play this? Like, it's just it's squinting at a little tiny screen. Like, it's way too small. Did you read the update notes? I didn't read the update notes because it doesn't. You can go read them, but no, I didn't. I didn't read the update notes at all. So yeah. No update notes. Let's see. OJ, have you noticed that Satisfy left scratches on your Switch? To only ask because I've seen some reviews which said that there's did. Let's check. Here's my Switch 2. Here's my Satisfy grip. Let's see if there's any scratches. There's some striations right there. But are they scratches? Could they be buffed out? Let's take a look. No. Unless I'm missing something. No. There was some marks from like the little bit of marks from the rubber, but no. Doesn't seem that way. But I mean, maybe for some they could. Maybe if you leave it in there long enough, you don't clean it. So maybe I'll clean here. But yeah, I didn't see any. I didn't see any scratches on mine. This has to be an advertisement. No. House Gang asked me a question, and I said, let's test it out live. So I grabbed my Switch 2, and I showed you guys. It's not an advertisement at all. I didn't see any. And if there was honestly some there, I'd say, yeah, there's some scratches or not. I would tell you guys the truth. But if there was no scratches, I'm not going to tell you there's scratches when there's no scratches. So yeah. No, it's no problem. It was a good question. It was a good question. So back it goes in the grip. It's good. Good Switch 2. Super clean. So there you go. Alright, I guess I'll just put this. I'll put this right here. I'll put this over here. I don't want to mess it up, so I'll just put this standing up right here for right now because I don't want to potentially scratch it on the dock. Let's see. Has anyone noticed that their dock has absolute scratches on the screen? Yes. If you're not careful, the dock can actually scratch the screen. I actually had to send mine in. You got to be very careful with it. Now, here's the thing with the dock. I have one right here too, which I don't think I can't lift it up, but if I could, I'd show you guys. But there's a protective coating on the inside of the, like, from the top of the lip to the bottom. There's a protective shiny coating that helps it not scratch, that makes it more smooth. But on the other side, it is matte. So if you're just willy-nilly putting your Switch 2, same thing with the Switch 1, into the dock, it can absolutely scratch it if you're not careful. Absolutely. You need to be, when you put your Switch 2 into the dock, do not just put it in there, like throw it in like it's a, don't dunk it like it's a basketball. Take the system, grab it by both handles, and actually insert it slowly into the dock. Do not just put it in there. Like, pay attention. It absolutely can, so be careful. Same thing with the Switch 1. The Switch 1 can absolutely scratch your dock. Now, one thing that you can do to get around that is that if you have a thin cloth, you can put that on top of the dock, like just lay it on top every time, and that will force you to put it in carefully, you know, when it comes to put, like, it's like you can't just do that because the cloth will hold it up. but you won't scratch it. So that's what I did to kind of train myself with the Switch 1. Now I'm with the Switch 2. Now that I actually had to, you know, I sent my, you know, get the screen fixed, I'm careful now. But yes, be careful. Do not just put that there, because yes, the top of it can scratch it, because the top of it's kind of sharp. The inside though, the inside top, like there's protective coating. So pulling the Switch 2 out, you probably won't scratch it, but putting the Switch 2 in, you could. Now pulling the Switch 2 out, you could scratch it if you're not careful, but the protective coating pretty much protects it. So yeah. Also, yeah, screen protector. If you have a screen protector, that also helps it from not scratching either. Or I guess you can scratch your screen protector, but obviously that doesn't scratch the actual screen itself. So yeah. Let's see. I've been dunking like Michael Jordan. Some people just dunk it like Michael Jordan. So yeah, some people in there. I just plunk it in there. Yeah, I mean, then your screen can definitely scratch. Your screen. I wish Nintendo used a little bit better anti-scratch protection on there, even though they do have a protective coating that is technically their own little protective coating that's on there. But yeah. Hey, what's up, Casual Noob? With the price we all pay for Switch 2 and even Switch 1, a screen protector is necessary. Yeah, I think a screen protector is definitely good. I bought one, but I couldn't lay it on right, so I sent it back. So I'm gonna buy another one. I just have to be careful for right now. But I did buy one that, you know, people said that was good, but I couldn't get it. Like, I kept on trying to, like, I had these little dust collectors, and whenever I got it right, there'd be a little bit of dust that I missed. Whenever I would take it off and reapply it, there would be air bubbles. So I'd clean it to where it was perfect and there was no dust, but then there'd be an air bubble. And I'm like, oh my goodness. And I went through all of them. So I got 4 of them. I got 4 tries at this and multiple reapplies. And I messed every single one up. And those were the ones like where you put the little thing on there. Like where it's not like, you know, like you put the little thing over it to where you can lie it straight. And I still messed it up. I messed it up multiple times. So yeah, I'll buy another one soon, but yeah, I couldn't get it to where there wasn't air bubbles or dust. And like I said, I was using the little dust absorber thing that they give you and all that, but I still couldn't get it. I'm really bad with screen protectors. Like, this happens to me anytime that I try to use a screen protector on any device that I've ever had. I always either get dust underneath there and I can't get it, and then when I do get it, there's an air bubble. Like, I don't know why I'm so bad at it. Like, I really don't. It's really weird, you know? I swear it wasn't this bad with the OLED. I got scratches days after I got mine. I don't think it was either. I think the OLED had a little bit better scratch resistance, because I'm looking at my OLED. So I'm looking, I have my OLED right here, and my son has went to town on this thing. And I know I've messed up putting my OLED back, you know, in the dock, and I don't think it has any issue. I don't think I have a single scratch on here. I think now the original Switch, yes, I think it was the original LCD Switch. Yes, that one. Oh, that was a big thing back when that came out, the scratching. But yeah, my Switch OLED is absolutely flawless, and this is from 2021. I've never sent it in. Never sent it in for any screen repair. My son bit the I don't have the white Joy-Cons anymore because my son bit them, but Nintendo sent me some the gray Joy-Cons. They just randomly sent me some gray Joy-Cons like years ago, so I have these. Anyway, it is literally perfect. And I know, I'm trying to look and see if there is something on there. And I know that my son's grabbed this, he's flung it, I've dropped it, I know I've put it in here kind of crazy. The Switch 2 or the Switch OLED dock does also have the protective coating that the Switch 2 has. So I don't know if that's an upgrade over it, but it does have like a little smooth gliding thing right here, and it does have protective film. So that might have stopped it from scratching as much as the other dock, because I don't think the other dock has it as good as this. So It does have that, but yeah, this Switch OLED is absolutely perfect. And I know that I've been a little rough with this thing, you know? It's crazy how much smaller the Switch 1 feels when you get used to the Switch 2. This one feels like a Switch 2 Lite. It feels great to play though. Like the Switch 1 feels great. Like I wish, or maybe later they make a Switch 2 Lite that's this size. Oh, the buttons feel small. Everything feels so much smaller. The screen feels so much smaller in size and everything. But yeah, it's a perfect screen, man. Everything's the dark mode on the Switch 2 is better than the dark mode on Switch 1 though. But yeah, everything's all good there. I do miss the battery life of this one, but yeah, it is clean. It is super clean. It is very clean system. And I have not had any issues with scratches with my Switch OLED. Yeah, it was under warranty. Mine was they fixed it for free. It took about 6 days between everything. So yeah, it just feels a lot bigger. I have the Satisfy grip for my Switch 1 as well. But all right guys, we're gonna have to wrap it up here. I have got some stuff that I've got to do. Yeah, I think LCD versus OLED, the quality of the LCD versus OLED, like Sellout's saying. So yeah, it could be that as well. So all right guys, thank you so much for coming out to tonight's stream. Shoutouts, man. We had a ton of people drop by. Thank you so much, man. You guys have been great. Check out my most recent video. I have a discussion about Metroid Prime 4 Beyond and all the different stuff with the game and all that. Like, I really enjoy what they showed off. So check that out. So yeah, man. I think it's gonna be great. Let's see, the amount of people concerned about side character Metroid. A lot of people who definitely did not buy. Like I said, wait till the game comes out. Action Hank, the game's gonna be great. Like I said, I don't know why people are spazzing out about that. They showed plenty of gameplay where it's just Samus being Samus. So I'm not really worried about a side character or two. I think the game is gonna be fun. That's what the game is about. It's about playing, not worrying about a side character. So yeah, I'm not really worried at all. 0% worried. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. Thank you guys for being awesome. Rip, I just got here. Hey man, it's all good. So yeah. You agree with those? Felipe, shut up. You thought that the gameplay wasn't even, that you don't even like Metroid. So you don't agree with those people. You don't even like Metroid. You were saying that they need to do something different. They do something different. Now you're saying now you agree with them. Stop the cat. Get out of here. You agree with those people. You were literally saying that they need to do something different. It's the same thing. Now when they do something different, now you're saying I agree with them. Stop it. All right. Thank you guys so much for coming out to the stream. Spawncast tomorrow. I'm probably not going to be on the Spawncast tomorrow, no, but I will be streaming. But yeah, I'm going to hang out with my friend tomorrow night, probably. So I will see you guys tomorrow. No Spawncast pre-show, but I will have a live stream at some point. So look out for that. All right, guys. Love y'all so much. Sorry for those who came in later. Shout out to Katana, Riku, and all them. Sorry about that, guys. I got to go. I'll see you guys for the next one. Bye, everybody. Love y'all. Thank you guys for the support tonight. Clabby, Jeffrey Tucker, you guys, everybody that dropped donos. Justin, Switch After Dark. Zoo was dropping donos. Thank you guys so much, man. It really helps out. So I appreciate that. All right, guys. Love y'all. Peace. Oh, shout out to James Forte. Says, damn, just got here, but all the love, OJ. Okay. Thank you so much, James. I appreciate the dono, man. I appreciate that, fam. For real, though. Seriously. All right, guys. I'm sorry that I can't stream longer, but we've been going for 3, so my voice is about to go out.